What's going on, everyone, and welcome into another edition of the Inside the GIAA, but it's a special one, Road to Macon Championship, flag football and football preview, 8-man, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A championship week. We're going to be live from Macon starting on Thursday. Richard, can you believe it? It's here. It's championship time.
Thrift, I can't believe it's finally here. Tomorrow we will be in Macon, starting with the flag football championships at Mount DeSales at 3 o'clock, and then just a whole week of festivities with all the classifications. The championships moved to Five-Star Stadium on the campus of Mercer University on Friday and Saturday, and I'm excited to talk about it all.
Me too, Richard. We're going to give you the ultimate preview. We're going to talk about flag football, which is Mount DeSales, who is hosting the championship. We'll be taking on three-time defending champion Zach Cochran and the Pacelli Vikings, who are one of the top 5 teams in the entire state, regardless what league or association they play in. Then we have 8-man football on Thursday, Richard. It's a rematch of last year. Westminster Schools of Augusta taking on, and Chris Murphy taking on Sherwood Christian and Doug Eason. Sherwood Christian is on a 22-game winning streak and trying to go back-to-back, Rich. How about Friday? If Thursday's not good enough, also the All-Star game at 7:30. If Thursday is the tone setter, Friday, there's a main meal, man. Bring out those big-time tomahawk steaks, all the sides. It is going to be a feast of games starting at 4:30, 1A classification. Rematch time, Robert Toombs taking on Edmund Burke. Rich, it's going to be a wang, dang doodle of a game. And I'm telling you, Andy Woodard versus Matthew Meeks, can they get that proverbial monkey off their back and Robert Toombs in the 4th try, 4 times in a row, finally get a championship? And can Edmund Burke go 3-peat? That is right. They won the 2A in 2023. They won 1A last year. Now they're trying to go 3 consecutive. That's going to be at 4:30. And then at 7:30, Richard, John Millage, the powerhouse of the GIAA for the last 10 years, taking on the team that is undefeated and probably the #1 offense in the entire association, and that is Deerfield Windsor. Deerfield Windsor on a 15-game winning streak, undefeated. Lane Sills is one of the top quarterback, if not the #1 quarterback in our league, and John Millage has dominated everybody that has been in their path. And then on Saturday, how about some dessert, man? Something to tie the weekend up with some beautiful football. 2A rematch, Brentwood, Southwest Georgia, Adam Lord, Kerry Morris. What more you need to say there? That is going to be probably the hardest hitting game we're going to have all weekend. And then the 4A, it's a rematch of regular season. First-year head coach Brookstone's Ian Headley, 10-2, taking on Paul Carroll, longtime legendary coach at Stratford. And I can't wait, Richard. Those matchups, I know you're salivating over being able to call them in the next 3 days.
Oh, I'm excited about these matchups. We get some rematches. We get some brand new teams in the championship. And the championship has moved back to Macon where it was in 2023. I know that everybody's excited, especially in the GIAA, and just talking to these coaches and their teams are ready. They're ready to get on that bus and head to Five-Star Stadium over to Macon at Mount DeSales on Thursday. And the GIAA is back for another championship week.
Which one of those games stands out you to the most, Richard? I say 3A classification, John Millage and Deerfield Windsor. I think that is probably the biggest game of the entire weekend, and I can't wait for that at 7:30. What's another one that kind of stood out to you that you're looking forward to?
I think that Mount DeSales could give Pacelli a run for their money in the flag football championship. Pacelli's trying to go 4 straight. Mount DeSales feels that they had the lead 2 years ago against Pacelli, and they play Pacelli tough. I think that Mount DeSales is going to be the most formidable opponent for the Pacelli Lady Vikings.
By the way, Mount DeSales was out there without their quarterback that year and still managed to score touchdowns and play Pacelli very close. That was the year Pacelli finished undefeated and ranked nationally, Richard. I think top 5.
Yeah.
So Mount DeSales and Coach Parazola, who is a phenomenal coach, been there for the last 4 years, a person that graduated from Mount DeSales. We talked to him. We also talked to Zach Cochran, Richard. I know you look forward to that. So this is how the show's going to go today, Richard, is we are going to interview every coach that's coaching in a state championship match. We'll start with flag football because that's the first game. And we're going to have on Zach Cochran of Pacelli. Richard, you sat down with him, and I was able to talk with Coach Parazola from Mount DeSales. And then we did 8-man football. Richard, you were able to talk with Doug Easton and Chris Murphy for the 8-man state championship matchup. So we can't wait for that. Then we had 1A. I was able to talk with Matthew Meeks. Richard, you talked with Andy Woodard. We go to 2A. I talked with Kerry Morris. You were able to speak with Adam Lord. And then in 3A, we had Coach J.T. Walls. Richard, you had the pleasure of talking with Coach Walls, who's back in the championship game after a 1-year hiatus. And I was able to talk with defending champion Coach Jake McCray. And then I was able to sit down with, in the 4A, Ian Headley. And Richard, you had on Coach Paul Carroll. So all those, we're going to be talking to each one of them, talking about their incredible seasons, their programs, some of their top players. This is the ultimate preview, and we look forward to dissecting each one of those matchups. So it should be a lot of fun. Do not go anywhere, Richard. I know you're excited to go straight into detail with all these coaches, man, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget, GIAA.TV, $39.99 is the bundle. $39.99. Richard, have access to all 7 games for all weekend. Are you kidding me, Richard? That is very affordable. That's a lot of fun. That's being able to watch elite high school championship football for an affordable price. Please make sure to go to GIAA.TV. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll have our pregame shows on there, and we're going to tell everyone, hey, now go to GIAA.TV, the website, and start watching those championship games. I'll be there with Richard. Looking forward to being on the call. I know you are too, Rich.
Very excited about these championship games. And why not go to GIAA.TV? That's the only place you're going to get it live. And don't forget, after the championship games are over, why not go back and watch just the championship games and the other championship games from past on the Vault, which is $5.99 a month. A great deal just to archive and just go back and look at all the championships in the past couple of years.
Yeah, Richard, I know I'm excited about it. I love having the Vault. It's one of the best subscriptions that I have. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going straight into flag football. Zach Cochran, Coach Parazola from Mount DeSales and Pacelli to preview those championship games coming up this Thursday right after this break. It's the road to Macon, GIAA.TV.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
It's the road to Macon inside the GIAA Special Championship Football Edition, and we are going to kick things off with flag football. The championships will be first in the chute on Thursday night, which is tomorrow. I can't believe it's finally here at Mount DeSales, and joining me is a coach who's familiar with being in on this stage, as he's trying to go for 4 straight state championships. It's the Pacelli flag football coach, Zach Cochran. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on getting the win over Brookstone. In fact, the last 4 games, you haven't even given up a point. Talk about the teams in the past. Obviously, you've lost some great players like Michaela Hosley. You've lost, Kendall Isaacs. I mean, you've had some outstanding players. But what makes Pacelli flag football where they plug and play? You continue developing talent, and it's basically because you have that flag football background. Just talk about your flag football background at Georgia Southern and what makes Pacelli a special place where they have just continued to dominate at flag football.
Yeah, this has been a super fun season, and I was really excited going into it because I knew we were replacing all these players, and it was going to give the next group a chance to step in. We've had some amazing players that kind of carried us for 3 years, and they were fantastic athletes, and they're all doing well in college now. And so this year we virtually brought in a new player at every position. We had 2 returning starters, but they changed positions, and I guess we work hard in the summer and kind of take flag football serious. So we want to win, and so we prepare to do that even during the summer.
No question about it, Coach. 18-1, have had a fantastic season. And it starts with your quarterback. Just talk about who your quarterback is and what makes her special. Look, the leading rusher is KK Jackson. You also have Mia Camp, Callista Willie. Who is your quarterback again, Coach?
Well, we have Mo Jones does all the throwing, and we kind of run off Mia Camp. So it's a 2 quarterback set. And
Got it.
Mia's stats don't really stand out, but her job is to kind of bring players to her and then keep the ball moving. And then Mo's the player that really stepped up this year. She was our center last year, and now she's got 30-something touchdown passes. So amazing season for her.
Absolutely. And KK Jackson with 32 total touchdowns. She has really been just that leader on the offense. Just talk about what makes the offense so special, and having defensive players like Ashley Swinson with 13 sacks that gives your offense possessions, extra possessions to put away these teams. And I'm just looking at the scores. I mean, you guys been able to have a balanced attack with an explosive offense and a dominant defense.
Yeah, KK is our only senior, and she's just been so fantastic this season, and her leadership, and obviously her play on the field and her stats speak for itself. But I just want to give her a shout out because she was one of the players that kind of had to wait her turn, and now it's her senior year, and she's proven to be one of the best players in the state. And I'm just thankful for how hard she works and who she is as a leader.
Yeah, no question about it. Now you're going to face Mount DeSales. This is a team that you faced in the playoffs last year, but they are actually going to be playing in their home field, and they're going to have a lot of fans there. Talk about the matchup you're looking forward to playing against a very good Mount DeSales team that won 9 games, that defeated the runners-up from the Flag Football Championship last year, Georgia Christian, to get to this point. What are you looking forward to about this matchup against Mount DeSales?
I have a lot of respect for Coach Carl and Mount DeSales. We played them a couple of years ago, and it was kind of the same scenario where we were the favorite, and he came out with a great game plan, and we were in a tough game. So I have the most respect for their program, and I know he's going to have a great game plan, and it's going to be a tough game for us.
All right, Coach, the talk about trying to go for 4 straight. I mean, when it comes to high school athletics, it is a accomplishment that few have done. It not just in flag football, but in every sport. We've seen like teams get 4 or 5, but it's very rare. What makes this season special to where you're going for your 4th straight? I mean, it's just a feat that hasn't been accomplished a whole lot. But talk about just the pressure of getting 4 straight, knowing that people want to try to knock you off the mountaintop.
Yeah, we're not really talking about the 4-peat. We just want to execute our game. We need to make sure we're pulling flags and taking care of the ball. And we know that we're just like a really, really good team when we're doing everything right. And so I'll be happy to celebrate if we win the next game.
All right, Coach. This is the message to the Pacelli fans. I know it's a Thursday night. I know it's a school night. But you know that the students are going to make that trip to Macon and show up and show out like they did last year in Statesboro. I was shocked how many Pacelli fans were at Statesboro last year on a weekday. Talk about how important it is for the Pacelli Nation to make that trip to Mount DeSales, to pack that stadium with the red. We need to see a sea of red out there on the visitor side. Talk about how important it is that the Pacelli fans need to come out to Mount DeSales to support the Pacelli Lady Vikings.
Yeah, I hope everyone will come out. It's going to be so important for us, and our girls, they want to share this moment with our fans, and our school does a great job of supporting all our teams, and here's another chance. And then, like you said, Mount DeSales, this is a home game, so I expect their students should be there, and it's going to be an environment that it's going to help their team. So we want to kind of put our players in a good spot to have some fans and show what we can do.
Well, Coach, good luck tomorrow against Mount DeSales. I know we're hoping that you guys have a good showing, but most importantly, that the fans show up and show out, and then we have a exciting flag football game. And you catch it on GIAA.tv. This is going to be the first one in the shoot, and I know you guys are excited and can't wait.
Thank you. Thanks for all y'all do.
All right, that is the Pacelli flag football coach, Zach Cochran. We're going to go and take a break. When we come back, we got Thrip Berger. He is ready to talk to the Mount DeSales flag football coach right here. It's the Road to Macon on GIAA.tv. We'll be right back.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Welcome back, everyone, to Road to Macon here on GIAA.tv. Flag football. Richard just talked to one coach, Pacelli, Zach Cochran, who's won 3 straight, trying to go for 4 straight. But we're going to talk to his opponent and head coach of Mount DeSales Cavaliers. His name's Coach Carl Perazzola. Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on making the state championship.
Thank you for having us.
All right, Coach, let's get into it. First time you're back in the state championship since 2023. You're 9-2 this year. How did you think the season went, and how's it been to get to this moment?
A little more pressure on us when we found out Mount DeSales was hosting the state championship. So we had a little extra pressure that we had to get in it this year. So mission 1 accomplished was getting there.
All right, let's talk about your quarterback, Laura Lily Sparks, who has been sensational leading your offense. Talk about the senior who's done a great job playing quarterback for you.
Laura has been excellent. She's given us a dynamic that we haven't had in the past, being able to run like a running back and throw the ball very effectively. I wish I had more years with her, but she's performed very, very well this year. I'm excited to see what she does on Thursday.
Well, Coach, what got you involved with flag football and brought you to Mount DeSales? Why is this something that you wanted to start doing?
Well, I'm a graduate of Mount DeSales, and I played and coached football there for a couple of years. And I had 4 kids. 3 of them are at Mount DeSales, 2 graduated. And long story short, I was watching my older daughter play in a powder puff game her freshman year. And I was like, we got to get flag football at this school. So just coincided that the GIAA opened up the flag football. The minute they did, I was running to the door saying, let's get a program. I'll coach it.
Well, I love it, Coach, and I love that you're giving back. It's the fastest growing sport in America. For those that have never experienced a high-level flag football game, talk about why it's so much fun to be out there and watch the girls compete at such a high level.
Oh, it's incredible watching them. This is my 4th year coaching, and just seeing the girls go from not knowing what a first down was or not really knowing barely any rules of football to really understanding the game, loving football. It's just great. Like, I'm having 3 daughters that were my oldest. Like, now having them play flag football, they love watching football with me on the weekends. And I've coached just about every sport at some level as youth or whatever. And coaching girls flag football has just been really fun. It's been a new passion of mine. I think I'll be doing it for hopefully a long time.
I love that, man. I love people that want to get back and help girls achieve their dreams or just have fun. It's a really cool sport. Flag football championship this Thursday. That is tomorrow at Mount DeSales. It's Mount DeSales Cavaliers taking on 3-time defending champion Pacelli. Coach, you just took down Georgia Christian. You lost to them earlier in the year, 13-6 at home. Then you go on the road and beat them 18-6. In the rubber match, you were able to win that 8-0. How did you feel about how your girls performed in that game last night? Last night. And how excited are you about the opportunity to play in the state championship?
Well, Georgia Christian, for the last 2 years, we've split with them 2-2. And next to Pacelli, I think they've got the best defense in the GIAA. So I knew we were going to be in a dogfight with them. And the very beginning of the game, we had an interception, and we weren't wearing a flag, so it got called back. And that kind of put us with a momentum change in the beginning, but we overcame it, and it was a hard-fought battle. And hopefully Georgia Christian's tough defense got us prepared for what we're going to see, because I know Zach and Pacelli I know their history and what they're going to bring tomorrow.
Well, let's talk about it, Coach. I mean, there's no hiding it. They're the defending three-time state champion. They're a perennial powerhouse regardless if it's GIAA or GHSA. They're a great program. But so are y'all. You're playing in your second state championship in 3 years. But what's the mindset to try to take down the champion right now, the team that's been at the mountaintop for the last 3 years?
Well, defense wins championships, and it starts with great defense. If we want a chance at beating them, we have to bring our A game on defense. I don't know their exact stats, but just scanning Max Prep over the last 5 years, I think the only games they've lost, they have like thrown interceptions or given up defensive touchdowns. Most of their touchdowns have not been scored offensively. In fact, I think we're like 2 years ago, we were one of like maybe 2 or 3 schools in 5 years that did 2 offensive touchdowns against them. So
Yeah.
we respect them. We know they are extremely talented and have earned all the accolades, but we're not scared, and we're going in there with the mindset that we can beat them.
All right, Coach, finally, talk about why you love Mount DeSales. You said you graduated there, you're back coaching, you love your alma mater. What is it about Mount DeSales that was so special for you?
It's just a great, diverse school. The kids are great. It's a private school and has the Christian Catholic aspect to it, but it's also like a very accepting school. Like it was that way when I was there. I don't want to date myself, but it was a long time ago. And I feel like it's the same. It hasn't lost what it's been for like the last 100 years. It's just always been an accepting school and great academics. And we're trying to get those athletic programs competing with the Pacellis of the world.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. Again, congratulations. Thank you for what you do for high school athletics and what you do at Mount DeSales. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow for the big-time matchup against Pacelli at 3 p.m.
We'll be ready. Thank you. That
is Coach Carl Parazola of Mount DeSales in his second state championship in the last 3 years. Can't wait to see his girls take on Pacelli. It's going to be a lot of fun on Thursday. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from break, me and Richard will preview that matchup here on the road to Macon, presented by the Beck Center inside GIAA. We'll be right back after this.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Welcome back, everyone. Man, Richard, that was a lot of fun. Coach Parazola and his Mount DeSales team think they can do the impossible, which is take down a 3-time defending champion and one of the top 5 teams in the entire state, a top 25 team in the country. And Coach Zach Cochran, Pacelli Vikings, what are your expectations with this in a rematch of 2023 state championship? But it is at Mount DeSales.
Yeah, I think that home field advantage is going to have a big factor. Pacelli just continues to reload. I mean, they lost their quarterback last year, Kendall Isaacs. They lost their physical wide receiver, Michaela Hosley. But having a player like KK Jackson, she has just been incredible, leading the team in touchdowns. And it seems like Coach Cochran has got some young players buying into his program. Remember, Coach Cochran played flag football at Georgia Southern. He knows the game. He's done a fantastic job just coaching up these girls. And they're trying to do what is very rare in high school sports, period. Win 4 straight. We've seen this in other sports. But, yeah, once Pacelli on the mountaintop, Mount DeSales is going to try to knock them down. And I think that Mount DeSales has a chance, especially playing at home.
Well, Richard, I think if you're Kamora Jones, who has been sensational, the quarterback for Pacelli, they're going to be tough. Mount DeSales obviously going to keep this a low-scoring affair, keep the ball out of the hands with Pacelli. And if you're Zach Cochran, you got to take advantage of the opportunities you're going to get because Mount DeSales try not going to beat themselves. But if you're Mount DeSales also, you can't have any turnovers, and a lot of Pacelli's points come from defensive touchdowns. Should be a lot of fun. That will be this Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacelli and Mount DeSales, Richard. It could be for a very interesting to kind of kick off championship coverage. Any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, just the fact that Mount DeSales is here playing at their home stadium, They beat the team that was the runners-up last year, Georgia Christian, in the semifinals. I think that you look at their schedule and the way they have played, I think they're playing their best football, and they have got a shot tomorrow.
We're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we go to 8-man football. Doug Eason, Chris Murphy, Westminster Schools of Augusta, and Sherwood Christian, rematch of last year. Cannot wait to get into it with them. Don't go anywhere. Road to Macon, inside the GIAA, presented by the Beck Center. We'll be right back after this.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
It's the road to Macon inside the GIAA, and we are just rolling along. It's time for the 8-man football teams as we've got, tell me if you haven't heard this before, another rematch of a championship game in the GIAA, and it's Westminster Schools of Augusta taking on Sherwood Christian, and joining me is the Westminster Schools of Augusta head football coach, Chris Murphy. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you?
By the way, I'm doing great. Congratulations on getting to the championship. We were talking, what is that, 5 championship appearances in the last 7 years? Your school's been playing 8-man football since 2018. Just talk about the journey to get to the championship game.
I mean, this season it's been an exciting journey. We've just been working hard. We got a group of young guys that just play well together, and we don't have any really over standouts. We just got a group of guys that play great together, and so they worked hard all year, and we've had a good season. We're really proud of our guys.
Absolutely. And one thing, Coach, is you were the 5 seed, able to go in and get a big, actually no, the 3 seed, as you were able to get a big win over Vidalia Heritage, 29-8 to get back to the championship. An incredible regular season, 10-1, and now you're getting to face Sherwood Christian once again. Talk about the journey to get to this moment, and what were some of the obstacles that were in the way this regular season leading to the championship?
Well, the journey really began a year ago when we came up just a little bit short down in Statesboro to Sherwood, and so that's been our goal ever since that night, was to get another opportunity. And the Lord has just blessed us with this opportunity to be able to face Sherwood again. And so we've worked really hard all throughout the season. Our very first game, we came up a little short. We lost 14-12 to GSIC. And, it was a lot out of conference loss, but it gave us what we needed to help kind of dial things in. And we're trying to overcome the loss of an all-state quarterback and all-state defensive end and receiver. And so we lost some critical guys to graduation last year that were a big part of our football team. And so we had to find a new identity this year, and, new guys had to step up and lead. And so it's just been a process through that to do it. But, we got really good, intelligent football players that are learning football at a high level and performing at a high level. And we're just really proud of all the hard work they've put in. We've really been at this thing since May in the weight room, and June 7-on-7 competitions and in the Augusta area, and just getting prepped for practice, and then, moving through the season. And so, we're excited for this great opportunity.
Yeah, Coach, one of the great things about 8-man football is you definitely are the true definition of Ironman football. You've got a player, your leading receiver, one of your leading sack leaders, leading rusher, Porter Grignolds. Talk about how special Porter has been this season, playing on both sides of the football and making an impact on the offensive side of the football as well as the defensive side.
Porter Grinnells is definitely our team leader, and he's just an extremely intelligent football player. He understands the game at a very high level, and like you say, he performs well on both sides of the ball. And so he's just does it all. And a lot of teams in our region have come to fear number 88 throughout the season, and he's just performs game in, game out, and he's just like having a coach on the field. He's been a real asset to us, and just the way he leads, and all the younger guys really just tap into his energy that he brings to practice every day.
And then the 8-man football championship is actually going to be taking place on Thursday at Mount DeSales, and I'm excited because it kicks off championship weekend, and I can't think of a better matchup. Two heavyweights going at it once again, Westminster Schools of Augusta and Sherwood Christian. Talk about the matchup with Sherwood. You faced them last year. They're undefeated this year, and they've just been rolling through their schedule. But you guys, after that loss, you guys have been rolling through your schedule as well. So what are you looking forward to facing Coach Easton's team and that Sherwood Christian team that is trying to go back-to-back, but you guys are trying to spoil the party?
Absolutely. Sherwood's a very good football team. They're got a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. They're very well coached, and they're disciplined. And so, like I say, we faced them last year, and it was a real battle down there in Statesboro. I think they played a little cleaner football than we did that night, and some breaks went their way, and so we'll see. It's going to be a good game. It's definitely a good matchup, and we're looking forward to getting after it with those guys on Thursday night.
All right, Coach, my final question to you is, this is the message to the community of Lyons, Georgia. Why do the people of Lyons need to come out to Macon and come support? Actually, hang on a second. This is the community message to Augusta. Talk about why they need to come and support Westminster Schools of Augusta for this state championship.
Well, we've got a great community here at Westminster Schools of Augusta, and like I say, this is our fifth trip to the state title game in 7 years. We were fortunate enough to win in 2019 and 2023, and so we're going to give it our very best to do it again. And just come support us, see what the Lord is going to do through a football team. That's our goal down here, is to raise our guys up into men of strong, godly character. And we just use football as a tool to do that. And so it's exciting to see these young men believe in each other, believe in the system, believe in the plan, and just go execute at a high level and to honor God the whole way through while they're doing it.
Well, Coach, good luck against Sherwood Christian Thursday at Mount DeSales. Can't wait to be there on GIAA.tv, and hopefully you can come back and get a championship. And we are excited. I know the community of Augusta is excited that you guys are in the championship once again. By the way, 5 o'clock kickoff at Mount DeSales and at Cavalier Fields. And good luck, Coach.
Hey, thank you, sir.
All right, that is the head football coach of Westminster Schools of Augusta, Chris Murphy. Don't go anywhere, because we have got the Sherwood head football coach, Doug Eason, right here on the road to Macon inside the GIAA. Back after this.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
All right, welcome back to Road to Macon inside the GIAA Special Championship Football Edition. And we talked to the Westminster Schools of Augusta coach. Now it's time to bring on the defending 8-man football championship head coach of Sherwood Christian. It's Coach Doug Eason. Coach, how you doing?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
All right, Coach. Well, obviously the journey to get back here has been an incredible run so far this season. Talk about just the efforts to defend the state championship, to try to go back to back. What, by the way, is this back to back or was it multiple? Like, how many state championships have you won so far, Coach?
Yeah, this will be back to back. We won 3 years ago, and then we were runner up the year after that, and last year we won state, and then we're back this year.
Absolutely. And then you're also facing the team that you beat in the state championship last year, Westminster Schools of Augusta. Just talk about the season that you had, going in 11-0, getting everybody's best shot, and just going through the playoffs and looking at some of these scores. Georgia Christian, your rival, beat them 30-7, 52-0 over David Emmanuel. Grace Christian 47-6. I mean, you guys have dominated, but what are some of the key ingredients to make sure that you continue keeping this rolling going into the state championship?
You know, we have just a special group of guys. You know, probably 10 to 11 guys have played together now the last, 4 years. Just a close-knit group. You know, our guys just do a really good job of buying in. At Sherwood, we call it the Sherwood Standard. And, man, the guys just do their job. Praise God, we were injured early on this year, had several key injuries. We're healthy. Seems like we're just kind of hitting our stride at the right time. One thing about playing, more in the South Division of GIAA, Nate, man, is, man, they play physical football down here. So we have so many really good teams we play all year. Georgia Christian's a tough team. David Emmanuel, we just play a lot of really physical teams. One thing about Westminster, they're a very, well-coached team. Again, we played them last year in state, so it's going to be a tough game. But, again, our guys just really buy in, and it's definitely a team effort.
All right, Coach, we got to talk about your quarterback, Trip Roberts. I remember him in the state championship last year. This year, he has not skipped a beat, 45 touchdowns. The senior quarterback looks like he's got a lot of confidence. Talk about what makes Trip special and how he's able to maneuver in your offense and able to go to work and get the job done.
Yeah, he's a special player. He's a true leader on and off the field. He's been a blessing for us. Of course, the last 4 years, I've coached him the last 3 years. Just a smart kid, really buys into the offense. Man, he's been in our system now 3 years. So, it's kind of like second nature to him. Him and our offensive coordinator really have a really close relationship, as far as our OC also played quarterback in high school. So they just do a really good job of understanding what we're trying to do. And then, of course, he's a true leader. He really does. He leads on and off the field. Man, he's a tough competitor. He's a tough kid, but he has all the physical attributes. He's 6'3", 210, just a big, strong kid.
All right, Coach, talk about your leading receiver. This is a guy that Trip tries to find open in the flat. Quentin Murray. I mean, you talk about a beast at wide receiver, 25 touchdowns, and has over 118 yards receiving per game. What makes Quentin Murray a special receiver? And is that usually the first person that Trip tries to find open? Because it seems like, he's been able to make tough catches, is a physical receiver, hard to defend. Just what makes Quentin Murray so special as a receiver?
Yeah, he our first year, he was a sophomore, and Q's always been very physical and quick, great hands, but just being in the system, learning, he's just a hard worker. Most people don't know this, but a couple of years ago had an injury, came back even stronger, put a lot of work in the weight room in his upper body. He's a strong kid. People don't realize how strong upper body he is. I think he has right 1,300 yards receiving. And him and Trip, man, they've been playing football a long time together. And just he's just really a competitor. And man, he catches about everything. And he's a lot faster than people give him credit for.
All right, Coach, the rematch against Westminster Schools of Augusta. So far, you guys have won 22 straight games going back to 2023 when you lost in the championship to Unity Christian. But last year, it was a very close, competitive game against Westminster Schools of Augusta. Talk about some of the matchup problems that they bring, and what is it like to face the same opponent that you played in the championship game last year in Statesboro?
Yeah, first of all, they're very well coached. They do a really good job of what they have. They have several returning kids from last year who are just really good ball players. It's just one of those games where, man, if you make a mistake, they really jump on it. They really feed off, mistakes, and they don't make many. So they're just a really well-coached team. Again, we'll just have to really lean on our physicality. I think it's going to be a good game. I think they're a very, very good team. They have several guys who played in our game last year that are returning, number 88, number 8. So I think it's going to be a good game. It's one of those games where you can't make costly mistakes because they will capitalize on them.
All right, Coach. Obviously, there's something brewing down in the city of Albany. Great football has come from that city. You saw Deerfield Windsor win a state championship. You guys won a state championship. When it comes to the talent level down in Albany, just talk about how special this place is, just to see multiple championship teams, to see you guys dominate at the 8-man level. Just what makes the community of Albany, Georgia so special?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Coach McCray. Him and I are good friends. We actually both coached down in Jacksonville, around the same area, and they have a good program over there at Deerfield. This area, this community, again, man, in Georgia, as you know, man, football's king. And in South Florida, we're blessed. Lee County's right down the street from us. They have a great football team. Thomas County Central has a great football team. Worth County, they're undefeated this year. They look like they may win state. All these teams are around us, and man, they just start young. They do a good job, and they're Pop Warner, and it's kind of in the water around here, man. These guys, they start young playing football, and it's a big deal here.
And I do want to talk about the community of Sherwood Christian. Obviously, when you think of Albany and you think of Sherwood, you think of I think of the Kendrick brothers, because I love facing the Giants and Fireproof and Courageous. But is the movie Facing the Giants based on Sherwood Christian? I got to know, Coach.
I don't think so. But I tell you what, the community here at Sherwood Christian is just incredible. I can't. After every one of our games, we always end with Sherwood family on 3. And it's so true. It's so much more than just football. It's a community through Sherwood Church, through Sherwood Christian Academy. Man, it's such a blessing. And, people always say, Coach, what's kind of the secret sauce or secret to success? First of all, it starts with Jesus Christ. Whether we eat or drink or whatever we do all to the glory of God. That's first and foremost. And, man, we give him glory no matter if we win or lose. And it's a special place, man. As you know, Kenny Roberts and Jay Flint, they do an awesome job in our leadership. And it's just so much more than football. I know that sounds cliche, but it's very true here.
All right, Coach, good luck Thursday night against Westminster Schools of Augusta. It's going to be at Mount DeSales. And so you're trying to go back-to-back. And I know that Westminster Schools of Augusta is trying to spoil the party, but I know you guys are going to be fired up and ready to go. And also the community of Albany making that trip to Macon a little bit easier than having to go to Statesboro like you did last year.
That's true.
But I know that place is going to be packed out Thursday night. So good luck, Coach.
Thank you so much.
All right, that is the Sherwood Christian Academy head football coach, Doug Eason, trying to go back-to-back in 8-man football. All right, we are going to go and take a break. When we come back, we've got Single A coming up here on the road to Macon. It's the inside the GIAA High School Football Championship Edition on GIAA.tv.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team The only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine treat sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Welcome in and welcome back, everyone, to the road to Macon here on Inside the GIAA. Thrift Behringer, Richard Holdridge, and we just got done talking with two phenomenal coaches, Richard from Westminster Schools of Augusta, and then, of course, Doug Eason of Sherwood Christian, Richard. So this is going to be a fantastic game. It's a rematch of last year's championship. We got Chris Murphy of Westminster Schools of Augusta taking on Doug Eason. We got two of the more dominant programs. Sherwood on a 22-game winning streak right now. Richard, have not lost since the championship game back in 2023. They've only lost one game, Richard. They're 33-1. 33-1 in the last 3 seasons, trying to go back-to-back, and they've been dominant this year. They've been number one from start to finish. Trip Roberts, who we saw last year, Richard, 45 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions. They got a dynamic running back of LaGrange, who's a sophomore. Roberts also adds 14 more touchdowns on the ground. I mean, this guy's just a dynamic athlete. And Murray, who has 25 touchdowns, 13 interceptions as a receiver. They're going to be a handful. What do you know about Westminster after you talked with Chris Murphy?
Yeah, and Westminster Schools of Augusta's only 2 losses in the last 2 years has been to Sherwood Christian. They're trying to win their first state championship since 2023 when they went 12-1 and they beat St. Mary's Academy. But this Westminster Schools of Augusta team, it starts with their dynamic receiver, Holden Grignals, who has been absolutely phenomenal. And they lost a game to a non-GIAA team to start the season, and they've rattled off a huge winning streak. As actually that name is Porter Grignals, who actually is the leading rusher and leading receiver and has got 17 touchdowns. But, yeah, they actually started the season losing to the Georgia School for Invocation and Classics, a non-GIAA school. And then since then, 10 straight wins, and they were able to defeat the number 2 seed Vidalia Heritage 29-8 to get the rematch. This is what they want. They want that rematch with Sherwood Christian. Westminster Schools of Augusta feels they match up well with Sherwood.
That is a great point, Richard. So that is going to be a big-time game. Cannot wait to see how that plays out. Sherwood Christian has not had a game this year within 23 points. The closest game they've had was actually last week's win over Georgia Christian in the semifinals, 30-7. I think if you're Westminster, you cannot make mistakes. You're going to have to hope that this offense from Sherwood Christian, who is even better than how their high-flying offense was last year, and just you got to hope Trip Roberts has an off game, and he hasn't had an off game all season. I don't see many options unless there's a game plan to kind of take Trip Roberts out. He obviously is a playmaker, but if he gets going, good luck stopping him. Last year was 36-26 was the final score, Richard. I'm leaning towards Sherwood Christian. There's a reason why they're on a 22-game winning streak, which is the longest in the GIAA of any classification or 8-man, doesn't matter. They have the longest one going. It's going to be an interesting one. This game will be on Thursday at 5 p.m., Richard. That is Thursday at 5 p.m. You will be able to see them take on Westminster Schools of Augusta and Sherwood Christian. They're going to have great fan support. It will be live from Mount LaSalle's. You'll be able to watch it on GIAA.tv. So cannot wait for that. Any other final thoughts on the 8-man football? That will be, again, 5 p.m. on Thursday, and it's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, can't wait for the matchup. We get to do it all over again, just like last year.
All right, what we're going to do is take a break. When we come back from break, we got another. Guess what, Richard? You're going to hear us say this quite a few times. A rematch, as I said in the intro, a rematch of last year's championship. It's Andy Woodard and Edmund Burke, who's trying to go for a three-peat. Robert Toombs, who's made it to the last 3 state championship. This is year number 4. He's trying to get over the proverbial hump and get that monkey off the back. Can they do it? Big-time storylines. We had a chance. I was able to sit down with Matthew Meeks, Richard with Andy Woodard. We'll take a break. When we come back, you'll hear those interviews, and then we'll preview the 1A classification state championship. It's the road to Macon inside the GIAA, presented by the Beck Center. Be right back after this.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
It's the road to Macon. It's the GIAA inside the. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Inside the GIAA, it's road to Macon, and it is time to talk the 1A classification of the football championships, which will be held on Friday. And I'm excited because we got a rematch of the state championship last year. And joining me is the head football coach of Edmund Burke. It's Coach Andy Woodard. Coach, it seems like we did this last year. Welcome back.
It is. It's awesome to be back for another year with another chance to win a state championship. I know when it's time to get an interview with you guys, we're getting closer to kickoff, so we're pretty pumped up right now.
All right, well, you're back after the record does not reflect the season that you had. Obviously, 7-4, played a lot of tough opponents, but getting a big win over Flint River, and now you're getting ready to face Robert Toombs once again. Just talk about the journey, knowing that you're having a big target on your back. You know, a lot of teams giving their best shot, and really the record did not reflect the season you had. You just played a lot of tough opponents. So just talk about the journey to get to this championship game against Robert Toombs.
Well, the journey for sure was completely different than anything we've done the past 2 seasons, for sure. We went into the season, we returned 3 starters on offense and 3 starters on defense. So we had to replace a bunch of guys that had a lot of state championship and playoff pedigree behind them, and bring in a bunch of, we had a bunch of young guys in our program that had worked hard to develop, to earn their opportunities. And so, we kind of get going on early in the season there. We rack off a couple of big wins, and then the injury bug hits us in early September. Through the month of September, we played without our quarterback for 3 games. We had a different starting offensive line the first 6 ball games of the season. And so it just took a while for this younger crowd that we have. We have a ton of sophomores and juniors and freshmen that start for us this season. And it just took a while for them to gel. And we felt like by October, we told the team that we need to be playing our best football. And I think we did in the month of October. We started playing our best ball. And so, the losses, I think early did nothing but just help us gain some depth and gain some experience with a lot of different guys on our team. We were able to get our quarterback, Noah Hickman, back. He's almost thrown for 1,000 yards this season. He has really got better. He had a bad turf toe injury early. Like I said, we went through a bunch of different offensive linemen. There was a stretch in the season, Richard, where we snapped the ball to 5 different guys, and we called them the quarterback in wildcat formations just to try to move the ball and just to try a chance to be creative. And credit to our guys, we adjusted on offense and defense and special teams. We had a 4-week stretch of the season where we were only dressing about 16 to 17 healthy players. And so now we'll be at full strength here Friday night at Mercer University. So that's the encouraging part about it, is we had so many guys step up, so many guys make plays for us to get to this journey and get to this spot, and they never quit believing. So we talk about the Spartan standard of unbelievable, relentless effort. We talk about toughness, and we talk about just the minimum resiliency of what it takes to do. When you have 10 guys going both ways on offense, defense, and special teams for a large part of your season, and they know they're not going to get a break, they know they can't cramp because the depth's just not there at that time. And you talk about a group of guys, man, I am so thrilled for these guys to get this opportunity to go win a state championship, because they had to go through probably more adversity than any of the other teams that we had.
No question about it, Coach. And you're trying to go for the 3-peat. Talk about, we're at Statesboro last year, back in Macon, beat Gatewood 2 years ago in Macon. What makes Five Star Stadium a special place to try to win a state championship?
I think the first thing is the easy thing is the school won its first ever state championship, right? You go to the place that, everyone has the memories of that day. We'll bring a lot of guys there that we just have just a few guys that were on that team, that first state title team. A lot of our guys were in middle school, and they were talking about, in the locker room when we got revealed, that's where we were going to head for the title game. And a bunch of our sophomores and freshmen were like, man, we were in the bleachers there last time. We're going to get to be on the field there. This is unbelievable. We're going to get to play there. And they're like naming off the players from 2 years ago. And they're like, well, he did this in this end zone. Did you see this at this? So, I mean, they're looking forward to it. It's an unbelievable venue. Mercer University does a tremendous job setting us up and taking care of us with the locker rooms, just all the way the functionality of getting our sideline set up and our coaches' boxes. And so we're looking forward to it. Smart Nation's ready to ride up to Macon, Georgia, and I know they'll have a ton of red and white on and be excited about the ballgame.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about your team, because you talked about your quarterback, Noah Hickman, who was out with that turf toe. He's got a very special running back. I'm guessing this is his brother, Sam Hickman. Are they brothers?
That's right. They're twins. So
they're twins. All right.
They're twins. They
That's
look
awesome.
identical. I still can't tell them apart, Richard. I have known them for about 5 or 6 years now. I still can't tell them apart. When they have their jerseys on, I know that Noah wears 10 and Sam wears 12. And that's about the only way I can tell them apart. And so, you got two twin brothers. They had a senior brother last year. Aiden Hickman was a 1,000-yard rusher for us. That was on the team. That was a special moment for them. They had 3 of their sons on that team. And so you've got a great brother-to-brother combination right there at quarterback and running back. Sam's had a phenomenal year for us. He's rushed for 925 yards and 15 touchdowns this season. He's been our kind of our guy. We call him. He's a leader of the dude club. He leads our team in a lot of categories that you can't measure with statistics, right? Toughness, availability, willing to do anything, willing to play any position. And he does a great job catching the ball for us. Sam does. He does a great job on defense from our safety position. And then some other pieces. We've got Cohen Felix, a freshman, playing wide out for us at a really high level right now. He's got 4 straight games with a touchdown reception for us there. We moved him from running back from where he beat up early in the year with that position to receiver, and he's taken off and played really well. We've had a senior out there, Rylan Miles. He's caught over 20 passes for us for a little over 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He's playing really well out there. And then the group that for us that got the improved the most from the first game to last game is our starting offensive line. We started, like I said, 6 different guys early in the year, a bunch of different positions, but we've kind of handled in guys like Brandon Williams, and he's a sophomore. He's playing center for us. He was the right guard before that even happened. So we got Brandon Williams at center as a sophomore. We have a freshman left guard in Jackson McKenzie. We have a junior right left tackle in William Rendell. Our right guard is the only senior. That's Matthew Hood. Matthew Hood was our starting right guard at Mercer 2 years ago as a sophomore and an inside linebacker. He was the mainstay of our defense as an offensive lineman last year. He's the guy with the biggest amount of experience going in this game. And then our right tackle is another sophomore in Sawyer Gresham. And then we'll have a sophomore tight end. So a lot of young guys in our club and that have just gotten so much better when we're practicing so great on that offense side of the ball right now. And that's really encouraging to see. But the thing that's kept us going all year long, Richard, is our defense. We played phenomenal defense. If you look at the Georgia Football Daily, they looked at defensive points given up for the season. Our defense led all 4 classifications in the GIAA. And that right now, going into this ballgame, they've only given up 100 points on the year. And it was just a bunch of guys that were resilient, that ran into the football. Like I said, we returned 3 starters on that side of the ball. They happened to be Matthew Hood, an inside linebacker, and our other inside linebacker, Ryan Reddick, so who also handles our kicking duties. And so you return just the 2 inside linebackers, and we also return Sam Hickman at corner, and that was it. The rest of the guys had to be new faces and new spots, and so that was really encouraging to see our guys step up on that end and play just really, really good hard-nosed defense, making it tough for the other team to score.
Well, I do want to clarify that even though you've won 2 back-to-back state championships, it's different classifications. You won it in 2A in 2023. You're facing a Robert Toombs team that has made it to 3 straight championships. They're hungry to try to win a championship. What are you looking forward to with this matchup facing Robert Toombs for the second time in back-to-back years?
Yeah, well, first off, Coach Meeks does a fantastic job at Robert Toombs. They're not going to be scared of the moment. They're not going to be scared of the venue. They were at Mercer a few years ago. They've been in title games. Their kids are familiar with it, right? They've got a senior. This is going to be almost 4 straight trips for them. And so I think that, we have to go into that ball game with familiarity. That's the best thing that happened. We played in August in Waynesboro, and we were able to defeat them then. And, it was a rainy, nasty, muddy day. It flooded all day long and all night during the game. And so that game's an outlier, right? We told our team that game means nothing because the weather and the turf doesn't happen the same thing as the rain does on the grass. So that they can really throw the ball on offense. Their quarterback's a sophomore. He's dynamic as a runner and a thrower. And the receivers are really, really big and strong on the outside.
All right. Well, this is the message to the Waynesboro community. Everybody at Burke County, we know how big football is in Burke County. We saw their public school make the state championship in 2A last year. Talk about why the community of Waynesboro needs to make that trip to Macon to come support Robert Edmond.
Yeah, we really need our Spartan Nation to come out and support us. We've had great attendance in these tile games the previous years. We don't want these guys to deserve it. This is the new team. They deserve so much to have your support in the stands and to wear the red and the white. And it's just a tremendous atmosphere. The 4:30 kickoff is a great time for everyone to get out of work early. All the schools are let down in Burke County are getting out early that day to get us to the game. And so, that's a huge factor for people to come. So, man, we would just love to have so many people pack the stands. We're going to be on the other end than we normally were. So you get to sit a different part of the stadium than you did the first time.
Yeah, Coach, good luck against Robert Toombs. 4:30 kickoff, 5-Star Stadium in Macon on Friday. I know we can't wait to be there, and good luck, Coach.
Thank you so much, Richard. Thank y'all.
All right, that is the Edmund Burke head football coach Andy Woodard. We're going to go ahead and take a break, and when we come back, Thrift Berger is going to talk to the Robert Toombs head football coach Matthew Meeks. Don't go anywhere. It is the Road to Macon inside the GIAA Special High School Football Championship Edition here on GIAA.TV.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the GIAA Road to Macon. And we go in the 1A classification. Richard just got done talking to one team, Edmund Burke, Andy Woodard. I'm going to talk to the other team, and it's the number one team in 1A, and he is named Matthew Meeks, the head coach of Robert Toombs Christian Academy. Coach, seems like we do this almost every year, man. What is going on? And thank you so much for joining us.
No, Thrift, man, I appreciate what you guys do for the association and, taking the time to get and talk with us. And like I said, to be able to get our kids out there and, get our school out there and, like I said, see what's going on with us.
All right, Coach, let's talk about it. This year, really good season. You're 6-5. Obviously got a big win in the playoffs over Thomas Jefferson to make it to the championship. You're riding a 3-game winning streak right now, Coach. How do you feel like this season compared to last year? Remember last year coming in, you had a bunch of losses because of a tough schedule. This year, you actually won some of those big-time games against higher classifications. What do you think of your team as you head into the state championship?
Again, I believe our team from last year did a lot of growing. Did a lot of maturing, a lot of development over the summertime. And, again, you hate to dredge up, past experiences, but, to me, you got to learn and live from them. And I think this group of 10 seniors is doing that. It's a group of guys that many of them have now been to 3 straight state championships and unfortunately come up short in each one, in different levels of playing for those guys. But, majority of those guys are all starting this year, and so they've gotten some personal accountability and some, they don't want to go out again. And so that's been a big driving force for this. It's just been a pleasure to be part of it and to be able to keep them in line week in and week out, and take a lot of that learning experience from last year, last season, and apply that to them this year and be able to have a lot of those heart-to-heart, like sit down, hey, guys, we got to figure this stuff out and turn what last year was like into what we can do this year. And the guys have bought into that. The guys have been all about it. And, and here we are. We got one more game left.
Well, Coach, you may mention this is your 4th straight state championship, trying to get over the hump. But this is first time of a rematch. The previous 3 times you played a different team every single time. Yep. Now your rematch against Edmund Burke. You're good friends with Andy Woodard. You know how good of a program he has over there. Yep. This year, how do you try to make sure that stuff like that doesn't creep in the back of your head? Because, this is human, man. Stuff like that happens where, oh, no, here it goes again. How do you make sure guys stay focused, knowing that you come in as a number one team, and if you handle your business, you should be state champions?
Right. Again, we know it's going to be a battle period. Like I said, Coach Woodard does a phenomenal job with his guys and his team and his staff. They've done a great job for numerous years. This is for them, obviously, at least year 3, trying to get a three-peat. So they're no stranger to this setting either. And so we got to keep driving that to our kids that, hey, this is a group that's been here before. They've been there, they've done that. And for us, it's we've still got to handle our business. Obviously it's a rematch, one from last year's state championship game, but it's also a rematch from regular in-game playing as well. And so we can talk about that as far as a game that was early on in the season for us, and a game that, whether we felt handed a good part into the outcome of that game. And we know we're not the same team that was there in week 2. So we've been growing, we've been maturing, and like I said, hopefully getting into that upper echelon of how we're playing and executing both offensively and defensively and in special teams. And, like I said, now it's the time to be putting the best foot forward.
Well, Coach, you beat Briarwood, who was in the semifinals of 2A. You came up just short against Southwest Georgia, who was in the championship, beat Southland, another really good team. Went to overtime against Bullock Academy, who was a powerhouse in 4A. And you made mention you lost 20-0 at Edmund Burke, but that was back August the 22nd. Coach, that's 3 months ago. Totally different team. Let's talk about your team and some of those key guys. How about your sophomore quarterback right now, Coach? He has been sensational, and Drew Edwards. He leads the team in rushing. He has 13 rushing touchdowns. He also has thrown for over 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns. What has he meant to your program as a sophomore, stepping into that role and doing a beautiful job with your offense?
We saw last year for Drew as a freshman when he came to us that he was going to have the potential to be a very special player. It didn't work out for us as a team last season to use him as a quarterback. We were able to use him as a running back. But he got some reps through quarterbacking and, just the style of offense we ended up adjusting to throughout the season last year. His skill set benefited us as a running back. But we knew just watching him in practice and how he could spin the ball, what he was able to do just last year as a freshman, knowing that if he'd keep working on it, keep building and keep learning from us, that, he was going to be able to be a pretty special player. And right now as a sophomore, he's showing that. It's, max preps and huddle, I don't think they like to talk very well. Drew actually has got almost over 3,000 total all-purpose yards this year. He's actually 19 touchdowns on the ground and in the air. Around 1,600 yards passing and a little over 1,000 yards rushing. But then throw in punt returns, the kickoff returns, and he's been a central cog for us. Obviously, it's a phenomenal thing to have a quarterback that truly can throw the football, but also can run. It put a lot of pressure on an opposing defense, but then especially when we've got a group of receivers that we've got that is willing to go catch the ball and make his throws look even easier and better. But the whole group of them are working very well together. And right now that's what we keep pushing, that it's their team, their group, each one of them individually has their own part. But together we got to come together as 11 guys on the field at once and have that common purpose, that common goal. But Drew has done a phenomenal job learning our offense, executing it, getting better week in and week out with understanding his reads and what we're looking for as an offensive staff as far as how we need him processing the game. And, you can see throughout the season that the game has slowed down for him, and it's getting to where he's getting more and more comfortable with making the read, understanding the play call, the concept we've got, how we want him reading it and diagnosing it. And, again, he's put us in a lot of good plays, and he's gotten us out of a few bad plays. So again, that's a testament to his character as a player and his growth and maturity as a young sophomore.
All right, Coach, we've got to talk about the defense. You mentioned your seniors, Brown, Durden. I'm going to say Holton. I'm going to say Hodges. These guys have combined close to over 50 tackles for losses. Each one of them have 13 or more. Talk about that defense. Talk about those seniors that have helped laid the foundation for your dominant end, especially winning 5 of your last 7.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've kept saying all year that our defense has traveled. Our defense has played better and better and better each game. And they're truly starting to believe, and I believe a big, big, big part of that was that Bullock Academy 6 overtime slugfest that, we came up on the short end of it, but we had chances to win that game. And I know, like I said, I know Coach will argue differently, but it is what it is. I mean, the two sides to the coin, and our guys battled like heck through that game, and they came out of that game with a ton of confidence moving forward. And that bled into what happened for us the remainder of the season. And then to go toe to toe with SGA in Damascus and come away from that game, with a 16-14 loss, but a game that we had the ball in the end with a chance to go win.
Right.
And we felt we had some personal, shots to our own foot of, just some turnovers here and there and, things we got to control. But our defense has played, I'm not going to say necessarily lights out, but they played pretty dang well down the stretch here. And again, we've got guys with a high motor, Blake Durden leading us with 67 individual tackles. And then, Jordan Brown and Brody Randall. But yeah, man, our senior guys, like I said, they're playing for something a little more right now, I feel. Like I said, they've been here, been there, they've done that, but it's come up short, and so they've got some personal internal fortitude that they're battling through and working on, but they've been, absolutely crucial to us coming through the past couple of years and of our growth as a program and our growth as a team. And again, can't be more proud of those guys for what they've been putting in, throughout the season. And like I said, we got one more shot at it.
Coach, you're going to be playing against Edmund Burke in a rematch of the championship of last year. That will be on Friday, 4:30, 5-Star Stadium in Macon. Coach, final message. What makes Robert Tune so special, man? Why you love it? And why your fan base is incredible, man. They're going to show up and show out on Friday. I cannot wait to see them. Why do you love this? Why do you love being called the Crusaders coach?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I mean, our fans are phenomenal. They're great people. We break it down almost every day, every sport on family, and it is family, good, bad, ugly. Like I said, if something happens, it's not more than 5 or 10 minutes before, you've got people in the community reaching out to you. Things are going well, things are going poorly. Somebody's there to help, somebody's there to lend a hand. Somebody's always there to encourage, somebody's always there to support. I'm not going to say it's not like that everywhere, but each place has their own thing. And like I said, our administration is excellent. Coach Tuck does a phenomenal job for us as the headmaster, but also understanding how the coaching life goes and, things that we need as coaches inside of the regular everyday grind. And then just, again, our personnel and our faculty members are awesome with how they work with the kids and the young people, again, knowing that many of them are multi-sport athletes, but they're battling homework, they're battling, the regular academic day. And then have, those extra hours on the practice field and, just other things that they're doing and going through and living life. And, like I said, Vidalia and Lyons and Toombs County is a great place to be. It's a great place to have children like that for us. It's been great for our two boys. One is a senior and one is a freshman now. And, again, they've been hook, line, and sinker and have been into it. And, like I said, it's been a great thing for us for the past 6 years. And, we're, again, thrilled to be here and thrilled to be part of the Robert Toombs family and part of being a Crusader.
Well, Coach, can't wait to see you on Friday. Good luck this week on preparation, and cannot wait to see you against Edmund Burke for the 1A state championship.
Yep. Let's go. Go Crusaders.
That's Matthew Meeks. He's done a great job just trying to get over that hump. Got a big one against Edmund Burke, 1A state championship. Coming up, we'll take a break. We got Boy here on Road to Macon inside the GIAA.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Welcome back. Man, had a lot of fun talking about those guys. You're talking about really good coaches, good men who do an excellent job helping student athletes, helping young boys become young men, and now they have a chance, each one of them, try to win another state championship. Edmund Burke, who's won 2 state championships in 2 different classifications, trying to go for the three-peat, while Robert Toombs, who comes in as the favorite and the number 1 team this year, Richard, is trying to get their first state championship, and this is their 4th try in a row for Matthew Meeks and company. I think this game is going to be a lot of fun. Richard, first, your thoughts in the rematch between Edmund Burke and Robert Toombs.
Well, first of all, I think this Robert Toombs team is much improved from that 3-8 team last year that lost to Edmund Burke in the championship. They played a tough schedule, and that's the reason why they're the overall number 1 seed. Robert Toombs has just been so close. Like you mentioned, 4 times in the state championship and have come up short. This would be the 4th, and so Robert Toombs is going to rely heavily on Drew Edwards running the football. He averages close to 90 yards a game. He is actually the dual threat quarterback that's got 12 touchdowns. And on the defense, when you got a guy like Elijah Hodges who gets in the backfield and wreaks havoc on the quarterbacks, I really think that Robert Toombs feels that this is their year. But I could see Edmund Burke three-peat, which has been a huge accomplishment, especially winning 2 championships in 2 different classifications. I think this game could go either way, but I do like the fact that Robert Toombs has been playing their best football at the right time.
Drew Edwards is a quarterback you need to hear, Richard, who is absolutely been sensational, the quarterback for Robert Toombs. 14 touchdowns. Actually has now, 18 touchdowns on the season. He also has another 15 on the ground. He has over 1,000 yards, 2,000 yards, close to 1,500 yards in passing. He has over 1,000 yards rushing. That sophomore quarterback makes this offense go. So it is going to be a tough task. I think it's the Robert Toombs defense that has been lights out in this one. Edmund Burke trying to go three-peat. They did beat Robert Toombs earlier in the year. Robert Toombs says they are a different team since that moment. Robert Toombs beat Briarwood, where Edmund Burke lost to Briarwood, but then dominated Flint River. I think this one's a coin flip, Richard. I am leaning a little bit towards Robert Toombs. I just think that this is their year to finally get over the hump, but never doubt a team that's won back-to-back and Annie Woodard and trying to do for that three-peat. This game will be on Friday at 4:30. You can watch it again on GIAA.tv. That is GIAA.tv to be able to watch 4:30, the 1A classification, a rematch. Edmund Burke, Robert Toombs. Final thoughts, Richard, as we are excited to be on the call for that one.
Well, I picked Robert Toombs last year after the way they beat Flint River, the defending champions, and then going in and only losing to Edmund Burke 20-17. They feel like they left a lot on the table, and this is a much improved Robert Toombs team. I expect another close championship game.
Well, I think we're all signed up for a good one. And if you're not going to be at Five Star Stadium in Mercer, you need to be watching it on GIAA.tv. Take another break from 1A classification. Let's go to 2A. And yes, again, a rematch. It's Brentwood. It's Southwest Georgia. We talked with both coaches, Kerry Morris and Adam Lord. Coming up next, and we'll have the preview in the 2A classification. Road to Macon. Football championships are here. Be right back after this.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
And welcome back to Inside the GIAA Road to Macon Championship Edition. And I am here with the Brentwood head coach. Once again, it is Coach Adam Lord. How you doing, Coach?
Richard, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
I'm doing great. It feels like deja vu. We were doing this last year on the road to Statesboro and finally got to meet you face-to-face on the field. And you ended up winning the championship last year. And I know we were talking before getting this thing going that you've had multiple championship appearances. And then you're getting ready to face the same exact opponent that you played in the championship in Statesboro last year. Talk about how special it would be to the school to win back-to-back state championships.
Well, I think for our community and our school, it would be a big deal. I mean, we have excellent, phenomenal community support. Our games here on Friday nights are unreal. The environment's electric, and it's because our guys put a good product on the field. And we've been fortunate enough to be in the state championship game 5 out of the last 6 years. A lot of that credit goes to Burt Brown. Burt was the head coach here for 23 years, and he built a great foundation, and I've just been fortunate enough to kind of take the reins of that. But, going back to back and getting back there is a big deal for our kids. We started the year with a bullseye on our back, and we've accepted the challenge to that, and we've played some pretty good football up to this point.
Well, Coach, you had a fantastic season, 11-1. The only loss you had was to John Millage, which is a 3A school playing in the championship. You had a pretty good resume. And just talk about the journey to get back, because when you're the 2A defending champions, you have a big target on your back, and everybody wants to get a shot at the champions. So talk about the journey to get back to the championship game.
Well, that started in June. We made the kids very aware that what we did last year didn't really matter. People didn't really care at this point. It's a new season with a new team, and it's time to go back to work. And we've kind of took that motto and ran with it. And our guys started in June, and their commitment throughout the summer, their commitment as a whole. We've had several guys on this team that hadn't missed a practice, a summer workout, or a practice all year, whether it was sickness or whatever. They've just been committed to being here and being at their best. And it's not easy, because we know that we're going to get the other team's best every Friday night, but it's something that we've been up to accepting the challenge, and it does require you to kind of be on point throughout the week. Our goal this year as a staff was to make practices as tough as we could make them, so that our kids would be prepared for everybody's best. And I think my staff has done a great job of that. And more importantly, the kids have accepted that, and they've worked their tails off during practice. And then Friday night comes a little easier for us. And we've had some really good games, and we've had some games we've had to fight some adversity. But we've handled that fairly well, and we've been able to win some games against some really good football teams. So we're excited about seeing another really good football team this Saturday.
And by the way, just a side note, this was the championship in the softball 2A championship. So it's exciting that these two schools are starting to form a rivalry now, Coach, not just in football, but also in softball. But I do want to talk about your quarterback, because, he's a dual threat guy, a junior, Baylor Cobb. What makes Baylor so special running your offense?
Well, his athleticism. I mean, he's an all-state basketball guy. He's an all-state track guy. He's got a phenomenal arm, great legs. He understands what we're trying to do on the offensive side of the ball. But more impressively is how good a defender he is. He's really incredible in the secondary. He's not afraid to come up and tackle. He's a physical kid, and he's been a blessing for us to have this year. We're very fortunate to have him, and he's had a great season.
Yeah, absolutely. He's also been tremendous on the defense, too, causing 2 fumbles this season. All right, you got a running back, only a sophomore, led the team with 12 rushing touchdowns. Tristan Robinson, it looks like the future is bright. When you got a guy like Tristan Robinson that can carry the load, what makes the unique style of Robinson's running ability that helps move the chains in your offense?
Well, Tristan's a physical runner. He blocks well. He adds a whole nother aspect to our offense, not just within the offense, but on special teams. He's a tough guy to tackle. He moves well in open space. And a lot of that has to do with the guys he has around him, how good our offensive line has been, and some other support staff that we've had. We have Abe Williams, who may be the biggest unsung hero in the GIAA. He's another wingback for us who also plays safety. We have a receiver, Zion Andrews, who is another really talented young man that's had a great year. Our fullback, we've had a duo of fullbacks. We had one get injured, Joan Shepard, who is another quick weapon. He's missed about 5 games due to an ankle injury. But Jackson Bragg, who's a very physical specimen, runs the ball hard, step right in there. We didn't really skip a beat at fullback. So a lot of Tristan's success and Baylor's success stems on the fact that we have a lot of playmakers. So I think for us, it's just about getting the ball in the right guy's hands at the right time.
And by the way, Tristan Robinson in that championship game against Southwest Georgia Academy, 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 on the air. All right, Coach, let's preview the matchup again for the second time in a row. Southwest Georgia Academy, this time in Macon. You won in Statesboro last year, 28-6. I know the Southwest Georgia Academy has not forgotten about that. They want to spoil the party, and they have got to this championship as well. Have you been able to scout Southwest Georgia Academy? I mean, both teams like to run the football, so do we expect a quick game because both styles are about the same running the football?
I'll say this. I think he's got a really good football team. We tried to flush last year and move forward with a new mentality, but both teams are very talented. We fully expect them to come out and be physical. That's what they do. They will come out and hit you in the mouth, and it's the same story last year. I think their team last year was very physical, very talented, and our guys accepted the challenge, and we brought a little physicality to the game ourselves, and we're going to have to do that again this year if we're going to be successful. So I do think offensively we probably spread it out just a hair more than they do, but I feel confident they'll be prepared to handle all that. So it's just going to come down to blocking and tackling, in my opinion, and which team does it best will have the best chance to win.
Coach, my final question to you, the message to the community of Sandersville, why do they need to come out to Macon this Saturday night to come support Brentwood?
Let's show up and show out. I said that Friday night on our post-game interview with our local station. One thing about Brentwood School is we travel well, we support well. I am fully confident we will have a large crowd there Saturday. Another great reason to come is to enjoy some good football. It's 2 really good football teams. We're going to be the first game at 3:00 p.m. at Mercer University, followed by the 4A game with Stratford and Brookstone. So we're expecting a large second half crowd, and we're excited about the game time. We're excited about the day. We're excited about the GIAA coverage. So hopefully we can put on a show. That's what we plan to do. But at the end of the day, it'll come down to being physical and taking care of the football.
All right. Good luck, Coach, against Southwest Georgia Academy on Saturday. And thank you for joining us on Inside the GIAA.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate all you guys do for us.
All right. That's the Brentwood head football coach, Adam Lord. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, Thrift Behringer is going to talk with the Southwest Georgia Academy coach, Kerry Morris, right here on Inside the GIAA. It's Road to Macon Championship Football Edition on GIAA.tv.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola, for everyone.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the GIAA Road to Macon. It's the ultimate high school football championship preview here in the GIAA, and we are in the, of course, 1A, 2A classification, and Richard just got done talking with Adam Lord. I'm going to bring on screen as Brentwood's in it. Who they facing up against? That is Southwest Georgia. And we got the legendary Hall of Fame coach himself, Coach Kerry Morris, joining us. Coach, how are you doing, man?
We're doing great. We're doing great.
All right, Coach. First things first. Coming back here again, let's talk about this year. Obviously got 9-3 right now on the season. Talk about what you think about your team as you head into the state championship.
We've got a gritty little team. We've worked really hard this year, and we just gotten better and better as the years went on. And our 3 losses come from 3 really good football teams, and 2 of them are playing in state championship. So, I hope that helps us. But again, now Brentwood is a fantastic football team.
Well, Coach, you've won 5 in a row. As you made mention, you start off the season 2-2. Those 2 losses were against Deerfield, Windsor, and Brookstone. Both of them playing in 3A and 4A state championship. And Deerfield Windsor right now has the longest winning streak going on. But you have been since that moment, Coach. You've won 7 of your last 8 games. What do you credit to that turnaround and getting your guys focused? Again, the only loss was to a GHSA school in Atkinson County. Talk about what it meant for your team to turn around and finish the season strong.
Well, again, it goes back to, I have to credit my coaches, because we just kept working. And we knew that we had a fairly good football team, and we just kept getting better and better and better. And as the playoffs, we're hitting our stride, and hope we can play with Brentwood this Saturday and give them a good show and give y'all a good show. And our kids are going to play hard. I don't doubt that. That's what do we do? I mean, that's kind of how we play football. And I know, like I said, I know Brentwood's going to play hard. So it's going to be a really good football game.
Coach, Colt Williams, he's your leading rusher right now. The junior, averaging over close to 130 yards a game on the ground, 23 touchdowns. As a team, you've ran for almost 3,000 yards. But it's the up front guys, man, that lay the tone. I know we'll talk about Colt in a minute. I had to lead off with him because he gets all the stats and the yards. But your offensive line, Coach, may be the best in the GIAA. Talk about the big guys up front that have been dominant all year long.
Well, I do credit our line, and for our offense to go, we got to have a good offensive line. And our head coach, our line coach, Jay Palmer, he does a heck of a job with them. They are hard-nosed workers. They are continuing to get better. Now, we've had to move. We lost one of our starters. He had tore ACL. We've had to move some kids around. You know, this time of year, it's who has the least injuries is usually the best football team. And our line, I'm proud of them. They've gotten better as the years went on, and I'm hoping we can handle it.
Colt Williams, he's a dynamic player, man. That guy is sensational. He can do a lot of things for your offense. Talk about what he means, and for not only just this offense, but for the school, for your program in general.
Well, Colt is a unique individual in himself. He's just a great youngin'. You would love him. You would want him to be your kid. Outside of him being just a phenomenal football player that don't come along a lot, he leads the chaplain. I mean, he has a men's Bible study group. He's been offered by several schools, and he's trying to keep his options open. He's like a coach on the field, you know, and he's a great kid, and not to mention he's a great football player.
I want you to mention all the coaches that have helped make this season possible, man. You can't do it by yourself, Coach. The floor is yours.
Like I said, Jay Palmer is my offensive line coach. He does a great job with them. Trey Wolf, he's our jack of all trades. He was my head coach when I was at Early County for 30 years. And we moved in. He wanted to come and work with us, and he basically still the boss. We just do what he says, yes, sir, and we keep going. And then I got Wes Williams, who's my offensive coordinator, which was also a head coach in public school before we come. And then the last one I have is George Kennedy. Yeah, he's an older coach, retired from Alabama. So this is basically where all the coaches go when they retire.
I love it, man. I love every second of it. Why is this a place that you love, Coach Morris? You've done a lot in your career.
I was in Early County for 30 years, and this is still in Early County. So I just love. It's great. We have our board is they're wonderful. They support what we're trying to do here. My headmaster, Matt Dalrymple, he supports us 100%. He loves the athletic program we have at SGA. Not only are we getting better in football, our girls softball team just won the state championship.
Yep.
We're trying to not only make a football program good, but an athletic program overall better.
Well, Coach, you got a big matchup against Brentwood. It's a rematch of last year. You know how good this team is. Obviously, you got to talk about it, but do you really mention it at all to your team? What's the mindset knowing it is a rematch, but it might not make that your sole focus? Hey, we got to get revenge from last year instead of just, hey, we take care of our business, we'll win.
We've got a smart football team. They know what's at stake. If they want to win the ball game, they're going to have to play outside their minds. They're going to have to play as hard as they can play, and it still might not be enough. But as far as revenge, I'm more focused on us doing what we're supposed to do. Because if we do what we're supposed to do, the winning part will take care of itself.
Coach, it's your message to your fans, because you probably don't even need a message. They come and travel no matter what, but
We
why
do.
they
We
need
have
to
a
come
great
down.
fan base. We got the best fans in the world. We were just talking about our last home game in the playoffs, and it was packed here. They brought Southland. It don't hurt that it was Southland because they travel too, but
Right.
It's just a great atmosphere. It's where you can drop your kids off. They play just like they did when we were little. They play touch football in the end zone, and I mean, and there's nothing else here. It's God, family, friends, and football. That's all we have.
42-7, dominant win over Southland. It's a rematch of last year's state championship. That will be this Saturday, 3 p.m. Coach, can't wait to see you in Macon. Congratulations on making it, and good luck this rest of this week getting ready for that big game.
Thank you.
That is Coach Kerry Morris. Like I said, he is a phenomenal coach that has done great things in the public sector, now doing the same thing in the private sector. Hall of Fame coach. Appreciate you, Coach Morris, and can't wait to see Brentwood and SGA this Saturday, 3 p.m. on GIAA.tv. Look forward to being on the call. We'll keep going from 2A to 3A next. Don't go anywhere, but we're going to preview this coming up after the break on what we think with Southwest Georgia and Brentwood on GIAA.tv, Road to Macon.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola, for everyone.
Kerry Morris, that's a football guy, man. When you hear him talk, Richard, that is a football's guy. And love hearing him talk football. Hall of Fame coach, coach for many years at in the GHSA, now part of the GIAA, done a great job at Southwest Georgia. And then we know about Adam Lord. I mean, this guy's got a program that is just clicking on all cylinders. One of the best programs we have in the GIAA, trying to go back-to-back. I'll start off with this one, Richard. Southwest Georgia. Last year got beat against Adam Lord in the championship game. They both came in with only one loss, and they lost 28-6. It was not really close at all. But I will tell you, with this Southwest Georgia team, Richard, this year, Colt Williams looks dominant. The running back, one of the top rushers in the entire GIAA, who has over close to 1,500 yards rushing and 23 touchdowns, over 123 yards a game. The offense revolves around the junior and Colt Williams. The defense is what's really been stellar, as they dominated Southland 42-7 in that semifinal. Took care of business against Gatewood in the quarters, 30-18. They're on a 5-game winning streak right now. But as good as they're playing, Richard, if both teams are playing their best, I just don't know if they have enough to take down the uber talented Brentwood War Eagles, Richard. And there's a reason why they are the defending champion and why they come in with only one loss. They got a quarterback that's only thrown one interception. They got really good running backs. This is going to be a tough one. You got a team that likes up-tempo and spreading around the field and doing more of the traditional offense, and then you got a run-first heavy offense of Southwest Georgia play defense. Clash of styles, clash of coaches. Could be a lot of fun. What are you seeing in this one with Brentwood?
Well, this is going to kick things off on Saturday at Five Star Stadium. It's the first game, the 2A championship. We know that here we go again. We got another championship between Brentwood and Southwest Georgia. We know that Southwest Georgia likes to run the football, and Brentwood has a different style led by their quarterback, Baylor Cobb. He likes to throw the football around. Brentwood likes to run the football as well, but they have a little bit more balanced attack than Southwest Georgia. I think that both these teams is going to rely on ball control, trying to control the clock, keep that other team off the field. But you have Tristan Robinson, who's only a sophomore, who's got 12 touchdowns this season. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, Baylor Cobb plays on the defense. You also have Tristan Robinson. Baylor Cobb actually leads the team with the fumble recoveries and caused fumbles. But I expect Brentwood to continue to control the clock, and try to get some explosive plays. I could see another close game, but Brentwood, they're the champions for a reason, and I think that Brentwood ends up coming out on top.
Well, this game, like Richard talked about, 3 p.m. on Saturday, GIAA.TV. That is 3 p.m. Another rematch for the ages. Should be a lot of fun in Five Star Stadium. We can't wait to watch this battle of different clashes, battle of head coaches who have great personalities, and Kerry Morris from Southwest Georgia, Adam Lords. We call him the Fighting Adam Lords. Brentwood, cannot wait for that. We'll take a break. When we come back from break, you talk about a behemoth. It may be the biggest game of the weekend, Richard. It's a 3A classification, and it's dominant powerhouse. John Millage, who has won 7 of the last 8 state championship, taking on the defending state champion, who is undefeated right now, Richard, on a 15-game winning streak, and probably has the best offense in the 3A classification. The most dominant team against the fastest team. We got the team with the longest winning streak taking on a perennial powerhouse. So many storylines. John Millage and Deerfield Windsor. Friday night, 7:30. We're going to talk with both coaches. Don't go anywhere. Road to Macon, presented by the Beck Center inside the GIAA. Right back after this.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
Welcome back to Road to Macon. It's the GIAA Ultimate Football State Championship Preview Show. Thrift Behringer, your voice, Richard Holdridge. As always, we've been having a lot of fun here so far. So let's bring on now. We're in the 3A classification, and we have a monster matchup. We have the undefeated Deerfield Windsor Knights, who have on a 15-game winning streak, the longest in the GIAA, taking on perennial powerhouse John Millage. But first, we're going to talk to Deerfield Windsor's head coach since 2020. And for those out there that didn't know this, because I just had to look it up, he was actually on Jim McElwain's staff at the University of Florida. This guy has a really incredible career, and he has done an amazing job with Deerfield Windsor. Coach Jake McCray. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Well, man, don't tick off all them dog fans, but great to be with you, Thrift.
All right, Coach, first things first. We talked about it last year, but I just want to bring it up and kind of set the stage. 2 years ago, your team was 1-9. Since that moment, Coach, your team right now is 22-3 in 2 seasons, a 15-game winning streak, already a state championship, and it has been incredible seeing your team become one of the powerhouses of the GIAA. What do you credit that instant turnaround in just 1 season?
Buy-in from our kids. You know, we pride ourselves on the things that we do when we're not out on the practice field, which is weight room, academics, teamwork, and just, you know, like Shart says, all in. They're just all in, man. And I think my first year, I probably had 36 kids on the roster, and I think we got about 80% of the boys in the school playing football because of they love the lift weights and they love being part of it. And that's 100% what it is they're bought in.
Well, Coach, you're now 12-0 this year. I know we don't want to rehash on last year. That was a great season. But that momentum, how did you keep it this offseason where the guys continue to buy in? It seems like they're more focused than ever after winning a state championship last year. You know, some people get kind of comfortable in their own skin, and that's where, you know, losses come in. I haven't seen any of that this year. Who do you credit that buy-in from the guys, as you just made mention, for this year, coming even more focused than last year after winning a state championship already?
I credit them getting their teeth kicked in 9 times 2 years ago and knowing what that tastes like, right?
Right.
You got a choice. You can either, you know, get whooped, or you can they've been on both ends. They've been on the high and the low.
Right.
So they know what it took to get there, and they've been told every single day since then that it's harder to stay there. And, you know, so they're bought in, and that's what they get, and that's what they really do understand. They like the second year of their career much better than the first year. And
No doubt about it.
Is the same.
Well, Coach, you last year were the team that was hunting everyone. You're the hunted this year. Everybody knows that's the defending state champion. How did this season, what was the message to the team to get through that gauntlet, knowing you're getting everyone's best shot week in and week out, and yet you all have come unscathed 12-0 to this point?
Just keeping our emotions in check. That's what it's all about for us. Last year we came from behind in a lot of games to win. Had teams retake leads and have to win. And so there's not many difficult moments that we have faced that we hadn't already faced last year, that we were able to just take a deep breath. Remember, we like the guys we got. Okay, we're coached up. We know what's going on. Just fall back on your coaching, fall back on your effort, fall back on your athleticism and toughness. And if you don't win, it's okay. It's whatever. But those are the things that get you there. And just when things are going great, gear yourself back. When things are going bad, you got to lift yourself up. And our kids do that really well.
Let's talk about one of your kids. His name is Lane Seals. Man, talk about a leader, Coach. The senior, 34 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, almost 3,000 yards this year. He also got another 4 touchdowns with his legs. What has this guy meant? Oh, look. Go ahead, put him on the screen. There he is.
Right here. There's the dynamic duo. There's Gabe, Daniel, and Lane Seals. They're here. We're just sitting here watching film. So,
hey, no wonder they're so good, Coach. But talk about what Lane has meant to you, your program, and how incredible a senior season he's had this year.
Well, what does the yellow sun mean to Superman, right? I mean, that's what Lane Seals means to us. He's a stone cold killer. I was watching the Westfield broadcast of it. He throws a touchdown and they're laughing because everybody's running around going crazy, and just Seals just walking off the field. We throw a touchdown at the end of the game against Valwood. I show everybody. Make an amazing catch the last second, win the game 21-20. Seals just walking off the field
just another day
at work. And he's excited. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he gets more fired up than anybody, but he knows it's what it's expected of him, and he does it every day. And we talk offensively. We don't have a system. A lot of people talk about their system. We don't have a system. We have a language, right? Right. And if you can speak our language, we can fit it. We can run whatever system you want. We can fit anything from a million different systems. And he understands that language. He just knows when we talk, we're speaking the exact same thing. We're looking for he understands where we're looking, what we're trying to do. And so we get to do a lot of things. People say, oh, they play 7-on-7, all summer. We do a lot of 7-on-7, but I don't think we've practiced more than 2 hours. Don't tell anybody that in about a month, because it's about our language, and it's about what he knows. It ain't about what I know. It's about what he knows, and the more he knows, and the more comfortable he is in doing these things, the better we are, obviously. And it doesn't help to have a bad defense, a great defense either. So
we're going to get into no, it doesn't. And we're going to get into the defense because, promise you, I think that was one of the more improved parts of the team this year, Coach. But got to talk about the receiving threats of Daniel, Hutchins, and Mitchell. Those guys have combined for 26 of the 34 touchdowns. They all got over 500 yards. Talk about the receiving threat. Now, Lane is great, but he's got to have weapons, man, to be great. And those guys have been sensational for you all season long, Coach.
Well, they're even better blockers. That's what I like about them,
awesome.
But, give those guys a lot of freedom. They look for the green grass and they find it, and they have great hands. They have great body control, and they play for each other. They don't care who eats. I mean, Gabe's getting a lot of the yards for the year. David Hutchins, 162 yards this last game,
Wow.
McLeod, the first half of the season, every other reception was a touchdown for him.
Right.
So they just feed off each other. They don't mind being the decoy. They don't mind. It's just score, right? Score, 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 however you can do it. And they're really bought into that mentality. And that's what makes them great.
Let's go to defense. Turner Simmons has been sensational for you this year, Coach, as well as I literally just had him off the top of my head. Oh, Pippen and Simmons, both of them having. And I know there's many other guys, Coach. I'm just going off stats that we've seen. Guys that have a double-digit tackle for losses are obviously going to start at the top of the list, but it's been the entire defense. So shout out your defensive staff. Shout out that side of the ball that has really dominated this year.
Well, those guys, my coaches are unbelievable, first of all. My offensive coaches do a great job with the guy we're talking about, and our defensive coaches, they eat, sleep, and breathe it. And, and it's when you got guys like that running around. I mean, Greer Morey on the back end set the school interception record a couple of weeks ago. We just had one the other night as well. And those guys setting the edge are pretty special. You mentioned Pippen and Turner Simmons. But they're going to have their hands full this week against that Millage team for sure. So the coaches are down there cooking something up, I'm sure.
Coach, let's talk about that. John Millage, obviously a perennial powerhouse. They had the 80-game winning streak 2 years ago. Last year had a down year, and this year they've back to John Millage. So you know about this program. What are your expectations? What's your mindset with the team, knowing that this is a battle of Goliaths, the longest winning streak taking on a perennial powerhouse? Should be a lot of fun, but you're going to have your hands full with them.
Yeah, I leave all that stuff for you guys. That don't matter. I don't know. You know what? You watch them on film, you see where they're at, you see where they're not, and got to know the guys that you got to stop. You got to, and there's a lot of them. They have. I mean, they are loaded, and they're extremely well coached. They got some guys with offers, and big name kids. So we got our. Boy, it's going to be a tough game. I'll tell you that right now.
But I'm excited about it. And for guys like me, we're going to hype it up, baby. 15-game winning streak there for Windsor. John Millage cannot be a better matchup. We've been circling this all year long. I think it's one of the premier matches of the GIAA State Championship. Finally, Coach, this is your message to everyone in Albany why they need to get in their car and drive all the way down to Macon at 5-Star Stadium to cheer on your Knights as you take on John Millage.
No, I ain't got to tell them to get there. They're going to get there before us. I ain't worried about that. Our people are all about it, man. This community lives and breathes this dadgum football team and their athletics and this school. And I barely got the stuff off my car from the messages they spray painted on it last year, and I already got something on it for this year. So they're fired up and excited. And the whole community and the school, they're gonna beat the bus there for sure. I guarantee it.
His name is Jake McCray. I call him the mad scientist of the GIAA. His team is putting up 40, 50 points a game. He's got lane seals. He's got incredible dynamic running backs, receivers, and a great defense. And he's got a big challenge on Friday night at Mercer 5-Star Stadium. Coach, good luck this week in preparation. We look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Thanks, Trev. Thanks for all you guys do, man. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir. His name is Jake McCray. He's got an incredible program. I'm telling you, I can't hype it up enough. John Millage, dominant, but I don't think anyone's been more consistent over the last 2 years than Deerfield Windsor. And Coach Jake McCray says, we're trying to go back-to-back, baby. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back from break, we got more here, and that includes Richard, who will sit down with the John Millage coach, part of Road to Macon, Ultimate Preview Show on GIAA.tv.
GIAA.tv now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.tv Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.tv Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.tv Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.tv Plus with all of your fan favorites. GIAA.tv Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more, featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.tv.
It's the road to Macon inside the GIAA. It is the championship football edition. We just heard from the Deerfield Windsor coach. Now we're going to hear from the John Millage coach, and they are back in the championship after having a 62-game win streak, and they are where they feel they belong as one of the top teams in 3A. Please welcome to the show the John Millage head football coach, JT Wall. How you doing, Coach?
Doing good, man. Thank y'all for having me.
First of all, congratulations on getting back to the championship. It's in Macon, where it feels like home. I mean, you guys have been to Macon before for championships. You're in Milledgeville, not too far from Macon. That's maybe 30, 45 minutes outside of town. What does this mean to be back in the championship, especially having the championship in Macon at Mercer University?
It's a goal achieved. Each year, that's one of our goals is to get to Macon, to get a chance. All you want is a chance, and if you can make the game, you've got a chance to win it. You've got a chance to be state champion, and this is our 8th trip, making the trip to Mercer for a state championship. So we've been on both sides of it, hoping we're on the good side tonight.
Yeah, no question about it. Looking at the records, you've won multiple championships. Of course, we talk about that 62-game win streak, which is absolutely incredible. But I've looked at the history of John Millage. You've had players that went on to play in the NFL. They're really the standard for John Millage football. It's always been a powerhouse in the GIAA, but had a tough season a couple years ago. Like, lost to Valwood in the state championship, went 2-9. But what was the success to have that turnaround, to have an incredible season where you only lost 1 game this year? And this year, you are the overall number 1 seed in the 3A classification because of the strength of schedule you played. You guys are in a very tough district with some 4A schools like Stratford Academy, FPD. Talk about what it meant just to play a tough schedule and to get that number 1 overall seed.
Yeah, I mean, over the past few years, the good Lord's blessed us with some great players and some kids that have come through here and played at big-time colleges. Harrison Bryant still playing in the NFL right now. So we've been blessed with some great players, number 1, some great assistant coaches to help us get where we're at. In turn, with the history that we've had, with the wins we've had, it's kind of hard to find the games. So you had to schedule those tougher games, those harder games, which to us, that kind of gets you playoff ready. And then you're in, we're a 3A school in a 4A district/region. For us, we like it because it's the Macon region. So it's the furthest I got to go for a game when you get in the region is Macon. You're going to get, well-coached teams. All the coaches in this region are really good, great players, and it gets you ready for the playoffs. If you can come out of that thing healthy, it gets you ready for the playoffs. And that was the one biggest thing, during that 62 win streak, during that run. We were blessed with, not only players, but also, avoiding the big injury bug. And, last year it hit us like it hits everybody in football. And it just happened to kind of hit us and snowball on us. And we kind of ran out of bullets. But, I think we coached harder probably last year than we have any year and learned a lot. I think you learn a lot each year as a coach. So we took a lot from that and put it to use this year.
All right, Coach, I want to talk about your senior quarterback, Lewis Cheney, 23 touchdowns on the season. Talk about what makes him special running your offense and the style of play that helps you become successful.
He's got a big arm. I don't know how far he can throw it. He can throw it a really, really long way. And he can throw it, and he's got a quick release. He's getting better and better each day and each week as far as pre-snap reads and kind of taking what the defense gives him. And he can put the ball in really, really small windows. So, he's not really looking to scramble to run a lot of times. he can. He's got great speed, which he's shown a little bit, but he's really looking to scramble to kind of lengthen the play and then try to hit you deep with a deep ball that he can throw good as anybody I've seen.
Yeah, no question about it. But he also has a pretty reliable target, and found out that he is your son, and he's only a sophomore. I was shocked to see this. We know about Asa Wall and what he has done. He has been a highlight reel as one of the top tight ends in the state, but he also is your leading tackler and your leading sack leader on the team as well. When it comes to Asa Wall and just the physicality of him being pretty much the tight end that colleges are looking for at the next level, he plays the position very well, but he's also a physical player that is useful on the defense as well. Talk about what makes Asa special, being a two-way player.
Yeah, I mean, if Ace is not physical, he's got to find somewhere else to live. So, yeah, he takes that role on very well. Smart player, very physical player that takes the coaching well. We try to separate the coach and the daddy stuff when you leave here and get home as much as we can. But he's a quiet kid. He kind of keeps to himself a good bit and doesn't get too riled up, until he gets on the field. And, when he gets when he puts the helmet on and buckles that chin strap, it's all business. And that's what you have to be. And he kind of made it up in his mind that, after his freshman year, he wanted to kind of look at possibly, playing some college football. So, he dedicated himself to the weight room and a lot of different things and really made the switch to kind of being a big time tight end. And, thanks a lot to his mama for being, taller than I am, to give him some height and some athletic ability. And, he's had a great year. He's been surrounded with some great players last year in the senior class that kind of brought him in and kind of taught him the game of football.
Absolutely. And the fact that he's only a sophomore, he's just going to continue getting better. I know colleges are going to be looking at that in the near future. Finally, Coach, I do want to talk about this matchup with Deerfield-Windsor. They are the defending 3A state champions. We saw them last year. They got a quarterback, Lane Seals, that's got some great receivers. He has got passing yards that off the charts as the top passer in the GIAA. What are you looking forward to with this matchup against Deerfield-Windsor? It seems like it's strength on strength. You have the physicality of John Millage, and you've played a lot of tough opponents, and Deerfield-Windsor still undefeated. They still feel that because they're the defending champions that they can try to get this game, but that it's two different styles. So talk about what you're looking forward to with this matchup with the defending champs.
Well, I mean, we're kind of looking for Seals to miss the bus ride to Macon. That would be good. But no, he's a great player, and Coach McCray does a great job designing schemes, designing things to get his guys open. But everything starts with number 9 and the QB. I mean, he's pre-snap reads. He's probably the best that I've seen. It's kind of hard to disguise things to try to kind of give him a look and kind of jump into something else because he'll take advantage of it. He takes the easy throw if you give it to him. If you move him off the spot, he'll take the hard throw. We hadn't really seen a throw that he can't make. And he was kind of thrust into this role as a freshman here at Mercer against us years ago when the starting quarterback got hurt. So, he's got some experience, not only from last year playing in Mercer, but also still has a bad taste in his mouth when he played us. So we know that. And, he's a great player and he has multiple targets. You can't really hone in on 1, 2, 3, or 4 guys at the same time because, they're going to make you pay. And defensively, they do a great job of making you earn your yards, whether it's on the ground or in the air. They'll put a lot of pressure on you, a lot of heat. But, I mean, they're a great team. They're undefeated for a reason, and they're defending state champions for a reason.
Yeah, and Coach, finally, what makes John Millage a special place to attend? Obviously, there's the rich tradition and pageantry. We saw the win streak with the football team. It's really carried over to the other sports. We're constantly seeing John Millage in girls basketball, softball, baseball. It seems like it's carried over. Just talk about what makes John Millage a special place to attend.
Yeah, I mean, we always feel like, in a lot lot of schools or whatever, that, you know, however your football season goes is really how your season or your school year will go, because it kind of gives you some momentum to kind of build on with other sports. And it's not saying you have to win a state championship, but you have a good positive year, a good vibe. Everybody has a good time. We feel like that in turn snowballs and affects every sport. But we preach, you know, just like everybody does. We preach the word family around here, and it's a small knit group of guys, girls, and everybody. But it's a small knit group of people, teachers, administrators, students, coaches that all come together, and you know, everybody wants to see everybody succeed. And that's something hard to find in a lot of places. You know, a lot of places there is some jealousy when people start winning and start doing different things. But we feel like everybody's on the same page, and everybody loves to see everybody succeed around here.
Well, Coach, good luck against Deerfield Windsor. That's going to be Friday night, 7:30 kickoff at 5 Star Stadium on the campus of Mercer University. And you can catch it on GIAA.tv. I will be on the call along with Thrift Behringer. I cannot wait. Good luck, Coach. And thank you for joining us here on Road to Macon inside the GIAA Championship Football Show.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Go Trojans.
All right. That is the head football coach of John Millage, Coach J.T. Wall. We're going to take a break, and we come back. We've got the 4A classification. We've got Brookstone Stratford. Don't go anywhere. It's the Road to Macon inside the GIAA Championship Football Edition on GIAA.tv.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Talk about a big-time game with two big-time coaches that are very accomplished, Richard. Deerfield Windsor, and then, of course, John Millage. Coach Jake McCray, you know, he was on Jim McElwain's staff at the University of Florida, Richard. This guy has done an amazing job turning around a Deerfield Windsor program, took it over back in 2020. And then what can you say about J.T. Wall, obviously the head of John Millage? Let's start with the defending champion. I know the storyline is John Millage because they come in as the number one team, but I'm talking about the defending champion as they deserve it. Jake McCray's team, undefeated, 15-game winning streak. They've only had a few close games this year, and one of them being against Valwood, in which they won on a last-second touchdown because of quarterback Lane Seals. This guy's got 34 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the season, close to 3,000 yards. He also has another 4 touchdowns with his legs. They got Gabe Daniel, has 13 touchdowns on himself. Hutchins has another 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. And Mitch Lick has 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. This offense is lights out. They average close to 40 points a game, Richard. They are going to be a handful for Deerfield Windsor, but it's been the defense, Richard, that has really taken this Deerfield Windsor team, which with last year, remember, that was a little bit of an upset, them winning the championship. They 7-3 in the regular season. This year, undefeated. Why? The defense. Guys like Simmons, Turner Simmons, and Pippen, both of them have over 12 tackles for loss. The secondaries are elite. The linebackers are really good. And I just think right now this is just a complete team. Now they take on, I think, the most complete team in the entire GIAA, and I think the number one team in the association in John Millage. But I'll never second-guess a team that's already won a championship. Jake McCray, great season for them. 12-0, trying to go to 14-0. And 16-game winning streak. Richard, 13-0, and a 16-game winning streak, which is also from John Millage. And by the way, they were able to beat a really good Westfield team, 26-14, Richard. And then they won in the quarterfinals against Pinewood, 21-3.
When you think of a powerhouse in 3A, you think of John Millage. 62-game win streak, the longest in the state's history. With the multiple championships, the 7 championships, John Millage is back on top as a 3A powerhouse. After having a 2-8 season last year, they battled injuries, but they are not only in a tough district, but they beat the number one team in 4A, put up 51 against Stratford Academy, And if you look at what they have done rolling through the playoffs, taking care of business against Piedmont and Frederica, and it's strength on strength. You got the finesse and prolific offense of Deerfield Windsor taking on the physicality of John Millage. And it starts with their all-world tight end, who's also their leading sack leader and leading tackler, and that is Asa Wall. We've seen highlights of him. He looks like a Brock Bowers type of tight end. He's definitely a great weapon to have, and he's also their top defender as well. And get this, he's only a sophomore. When I was talking to the coach, I mean, they're definitely recruiting him now to be one of the top tight ends to go play at the next level. In my opinion, Asa Wall is one of the best tight ends in the state of Georgia, and that's how dominant he's been. Javaris Hunt, Jameel Cooper, those are your running backs that lead that backfield. And when you talk about that defense, I mean, we talk about Amarian Shivers, who's only a freshman, who's anchoring that defense with Asa Wall. It's hard to pick against the champions, but what John Millage has done, they're the number one overall seed for a reason because of their strength of schedule. Their only loss was to one of the top private schools in the GHSA in Athens Academy. I like John Millage. I think that John Millage gets back on top.
Never underestimate the heart of a champion.
All right,
You
Rudy.
of all people should know that.
Come on, Rudy T. I know.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. 7:30 prime time, 5-star stadium, under the lights. Cannot wait. It is going to be an absolute, I think, the biggest show that we may have in these next couple of days. GIAA.tv is where you're going to be able to watch it. John Millage, 11-1, number one team in the association, by far the prohibited favorite, taking on an undefeated 15-game winning streak. Deerfield Windsor, defending champion. Sign me up. 7:30 Friday night on GIAA.tv. We'll take a break from 3A to 4A, and we got Brookstone and Stratford, two teams that played each other earlier this year. The number one and number two teams, all chalk in 4A. We got a brand new head coach taking on a legendary coach. We can't wait to see this one. We talked with both of them, Richard with Paul Carroll, and I talked with Ian Headley of Brookstone. Coming up next, and we'll preview the 4A classification on the road to Macon inside the GIAA on GIAA.tv.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
From 3A to 4A, and that's where we are at now for the road to Macon State Championship preview show here on GIAA.tv. And we're going to go to one of the schools from the 4A classification out of Columbus, Georgia. The Brookstone Cougars are making it back, first time since 2023. And joining me is first-year head coach of the Cougars, Ian Headley. Coach, thank you so much for joining the road to Macon and inside the GIAA.
Thank you for having me, man. Thank you.
All right, man. This is pretty surreal moment for you. Year one from a guy that is from Miami, Florida.
Palm Beach County.
Palm Beach County. Correct me, Coach. I don't want to mispronounce anything, but Palm Beach County, all the way to Columbus, Georgia.
Yes,
10-hour drive. And you came here at the beginning of 2025 to see how this season went. To go 8-2 in the regular season, beat your rival twice, once in the playoffs, once in the regular season. You're 10-2 and in the championship game. What does that mean to you personally in year one, already making it to the state championship?
It's just, it means the world. It means, when I took the job and we started this thing in the summer, that was a goal of ours, was to get to Macon, to go 15 weeks. When we started in the preseason, we had it on a PowerPoint. So, it was something that meant a lot to us.
Well, Coach, this first year in the GIAA, I think you learned really quickly there's a lot of talent, and you play in a tough region. So talk about that. How was it playing in this league compared to when you were in Florida last year? There's a lot of hidden gems and hidden talent that a lot of people don't talk about, but we do here in the GIAA.
Well, man, I'll tell you, man, just obviously just coming from South Florida where, there's talent everywhere. You get spoiled and you think that's the only place, but definitely just being in this league, just the Columbus area, there's a lot of talent. And sometimes I feel like I am still at home with some of the talent that we see week in and week out. And I mean, and just from other schools in the area. So no, the talent is legit for sure.
Coach, you're 8-2. Let's talk about this season. You got off to a blazing start, and then you lost, 2 of 3 in that middle stretch. You did get a big win to end the year against Strong Rock. What was your message to your team when you hit that little bit of a lull after you lost your top running back and you're still trying to find that identity as a team? What was the message to get through that strong to be where you're at today?
Just kind of, this doesn't define us. When we made this goal, we didn't say to go undefeated. We didn't say for everything to be perfect. We just said we wanted to get here. So, we embraced adversity. We embraced the ups and the downs, and we just kept just kind of next man up, and we just kept going.
Coach, let's talk about your quarterback, Broughton Branch, a junior this year, 24 touchdowns, 9 interception. He also has got close to 500 yards on the ground, another 4 touchdowns. He has been everything you need. I was there last Friday calling the game. It's like you and him on the same accord, knowing exactly what he wants, and then he knows what you want from him. Talk about that relationship you got with your quarterback and how special it is.
I mean, it's phenomenal. He came to me and he's like, "Coach, man, we don't have to do nothing else. Just run the ball. We'll get it out quick and let's win this game." So we're definitely on the same page. I think every week we're growing. Every day we're growing. He's a phenomenal kid. He's a competitor, extremely smart kid. He loves the game, wants to put the work in, and he's just seeing that, him just doing all the little things right, it just makes us so much better. I think he was 12 or 16. He had a 130% QBR. So, that just shows the type of talent he has, man. He was efficient. He went at the right place with the balls. He threw it with conviction, and he carried out the game plan 100%.
Coach, let's talk about the running backs. Dylan Terry goes out, and it's running back by committee that you've been able to have to do. Guys like Sammy LeBoy, Gray Jones, Deacon Leatherwood, also Broughton Branch, who actually is your leading rusher right now. Talk about those guys stepping up when you lost the talented Dylan Terry.
Well, a lot of those guys playing those positions, man, we kind of played with that over the summer, so we knew what we had. Obviously, Dylan was just a special talent, so that's where he shined the most. But I mean, we got athletes, so we could roll any of them guys back there. Kingston Terry, his little brother, got back there and almost popped one on Friday. So I think when you just got athletes, it's just a matter of just getting them coached up and just getting them comfortable. But we got athletes, and a lot of those guys, they're playing for Dylan right now, so they hold that true to their heart.
Let's talk about the wide receivers and Mitchum Kelly, and then, of course, Samuel LeBoy. They are just phenomenal. 17 touchdowns between both of them, close to 1,500 yards. You find a way to get them in space all the time, Coach. Talk about the dynamic duo of LeBoy and and Mitchum Kelly, and how great they've been.
I'll tell you what, man. When we win, those guys are touching the ball. So when we don't win, it's usually because they didn't touch the ball. So we just try to get the ball in those guys' hands, and usually good things happen. But those are just the two that everybody talks about. But Jack Jones made some key blocks on Friday. He's been making some key blocks all season. He's a young kid that's really starting these last couple weeks of the season, he's really starting to come into his own. He's been making some big time catches, some key catches to keep drives going. He's understanding that, hey, I'm 6'3", 200 pounds. I'm a matchup nightmare for a lot of people. So we got Stuart Wolf at H, who does a great job of just kind of doing the dirty work. Extremely smart, so we could do a lot with him as well. He understands it, and he's deceptively fast. So you got to cover him. You can't not pay attention to those two, and then we could roll Deacon in the slot, and he could do some things. And we got some other young guys, Forrest Salino, who's going to be really good in the future. And so I feel good about that group. Those guys, they bring it every day. They take it personal when to do the dirty work and to make the splash plays. So that group is definitely elite for sure.
All right. Defensively, we'll wrap it up with this, Coach. Your Coach Farmer has been excellent as your defensive coordinator. Another great call and a shutout over FPD this past Friday. Then you got two guys at A.J. Hayes, Sr., and Harrison Baker, Sr., that have over 150 tackles. Both of them each over 300 combined. Both of them have over 27 tackles for loss. Also, Colton Jordan has another 12. He has been lights out on the defensive end with Savon Kelly. Talk about that defensive side of the ball. When you have four guys that have double-digit sacks and have just been lights out and setting the tone every single game.
I mean, again, man, I'm gonna say it again. Our defensive staff, they're locked in. They make sure they do a really good job of just handling all the little things. And those guys, man, they play hard for our coaches, and they play hard for each other. Charlie Peak didn't play last year. Savon didn't play last year. So these are all guys that are really, really young, and there's a lot of potential there. Colton Jordan didn't play last year. I don't think Jacob Hack played last year. So again, there's a lot of a talent there. AJ Hayes, Harrison Baker, MJ Archibald, Kingston, Frankie, Gilly, Hudson at corner, Gray at corner. I mean, I just think those guys, man, they just find a way. They're tough. They take the coaching, and they want to get better. And they want this. They want this game back for sure.
All right. Let's talk about the matchup. It's Stratford. That's who you have coming up. They beat you earlier this year, Coach, and it was a dominant game by Stratford. They've been number one all season long. They beat you 41-14. What is the message to the team this week to try to avenge that loss, but make it not the sole priority where you kind of lose your identity because you want it so bad? So how do you manage that with these guys, knowing what's at stake this Saturday night at 6 o'clock?
I mean, well, we got to just look it in the face. We talked about it. We know why we lost that game. We didn't play our best offensively. We didn't play our best defensively. We kind of got out of our routine. There was a lot of things that just were not characteristics of how we were doing things all year. So, I think just having another opportunity, which we're lucky, we're blessed because you really don't get this opportunity a lot. So just having this opportunity, I know the guys that we have, the kids that we have, I know that they're going to be locked in and they're going to want to make it right.
All right, Coach, we'll see you Saturday at 6 o'clock. Here's your final message on what makes Brookstone so special. Why is this a place you took your family from Palm Beach County, way down in deep Florida, all the way here to Columbus, Georgia? Why this place is such a special place and why you've enjoyed it here in year one?
I think this community, it's a genuine community. It's a loving community. It's a very just supportive community. Since I've been here, it's been nothing but authentic. It's been nothing but genuine. It's been real. So I think, like I told you on Friday, when you have a community like this, when you have parents like this, admins like this, just the whole community is on board. It makes you want to go really, really hard. And they accepted my family just with open arms. And man, I feel like I've been here for 3 years. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us. In year one, you have your Cougars a win away from the state championship. We'll see you Friday night, 6 p.m. at Macon, five-star
Yes, sir.
Stadium.
Yes, sir. Go Cougs. Let's do it.
That's Ian Headley. Man, wow. That was excellent. Can't wait to see his Cougars get a rematch against the Stratford Eagles. Speaking of Stratford, Richard's going to be talking with that head coach coming up next. Paul Carroll here on the road to Macon. We keep trucking along. GIAA.TV.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
It's the road to Macon. It's the Inside the GIAA Special Championship Edition. And we just got finished talking with the Brookstone head football coach. Now it's time to talk to the Stratford head coach. His name is Coach Paul Carroll. Coach, congratulations on making it to the state championship.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me on TV right now.
Absolutely. Now, talk a little bit about your coaching background. How long you've been the Stratford Academy coach, and what are you looking forward to about playing in the championship in front of your home fans there in Macon?
Yeah, actually, I've been coaching for about 30 years now. I've been in public school. I had the opportunity to coach under a lot of dang good head football coaches from South Georgia to Middle Georgia to Atlanta area. This is my second year at Stratford. And just so excited that our guys have bought into the process of what our coaches have been trying to do. And now we're back in the big game, and we're guaranteed this one game. And this is that one game that you want to win.
Coach, talk about the turmoil that you faced middle of the season. You've been preseason number one, ranked right there with FPD, Brookstone, as one of the top teams in the GIAA all season. Had an incredible 10-2 record. But you did have a little bit of turmoil when you lost 2 straight to John Millage and FPD. What did you learn about your team, and what did you tell your team when you were going down the stretch trying to get that number 1 overall seed? But was the team realizing that you're facing region opponents that that lost 2 straight and basically coming out the gate trying to get a playoff berth and getting to where you are now?
Right, and the biggest thing is those 2 teams we played are really good, and they were lights out on those Friday nights, and we wasn't. We actually turned the ball over, if I'm not mistaken, 8 times in those 2 ball games. That's the main thing that I told our guys. I said, hey, we just got to keep grinding in the weight room. We got to keep working on the practice field, and it always comes down to this, especially when you're playing in the playoffs and you're playing these big region games. It's always about defense and special teams and holding on to the ball. So those are the 3 things that we really concentrated on, and our guys have been locked in and done everything we asked them to do.
Coach, I want to talk about your running back, Travis Stevens, because he was actually the leading rusher in the entire GIAA. And just talk about the impact that his injury had, and what were some of the running backs that actually stepped up in his place?
Yeah, Tyler Stevens, a great football player for us. He had almost 1,600 yards, I think, in 8 games, and actually on the 4th play of the game against Mountain Sales, he tore his ACL, and it was unfortunate for him because he's a great young man. He's looking to try to play at that next level, and I hope he does get the opportunity to do that because he can. Once we had that, take place, we had some other guys that had to step up. We've got a young man who's a freshman, Aaron Jefferson. He's actually our starting Mike linebacker and running back right now. We got Rylan Jones is another linebacker / running back that's been put back there to run the football. And we've got 2 or 3 young guys that have to step up, and they're doing a great job right now. And our quarterback's doing, what he's supposed to be doing and getting better each and every week.
All right, Coach, we got to talk about that defense because you have a just a nightmare of a pass rusher in Maddox Whitehead, who he is just a wreaking havoc in that backfield. 10 sacks. Let's talk about the type of defensive end that he has been just a problem for these offenses that you've had to face. And what does it mean to have Maddox on that defense, anchoring that defense?
It's awesome. I'm gonna tell you, Maddox, when I first got here, he balled into that weight room. I mean, he was probably 185 pounds, 6'3", 185. He's just exploded, just worked his tail off for 2 years right now in that weight room. And he's got up to being about 215 to 220, and he's strong. He attacks. He plays reckless abandon. He's got his motor running all the time, and he's hard to block. He actually has 13 sacks, and he's just one of our leaders on defense, and he's one of those old school type football players that you want to have on your team that is going to work every single day.
All right, Coach, talk about the matchup with Brookstone. You beat him in the regular season in a non-region game on September the 19th, 41-14. But Brookstone has been a different team since then. They feel like they can make the adjustments to go with the matchup against you guys. What have you learned about your team as far as the team that you were when you faced Brookstone in the regular season to the team you are now? And what are you looking forward to with that matchup facing Brookstone once again, this time for the championship?
Right. Well, as everybody knows, it's hard to beat somebody twice in 1 year. And they've gotten a lot better as a football team on both sides of the ball. We have too. So, it's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be a good matchup. They like to spread you out. And early in the year, they were kind of throwing it a little bit more. Now they're running the football. So now you got dual threats with the quarterback running, with the running backs back there, and then being able to make some explosive plays. That's something that we've got to stop, is those explosive plays. And we got to tackle well in space. Defensively, they are 3-4 defense. They got some guys that really are attacking up front. They got their linebackers that are really playing well right now. And, we've got a big challenge, even though the score was 41-15, I think it was. But, I don't look at that. I went back and looked at the film, and we didn't play our best game against Brookstone. And I don't think Brookstone played their best game against us. So, on Saturday night at 6 o'clock, both teams are going to come out firing, ready to go, because it's just this last game.
Yeah, no question about it. And you also snapped a 2-game losing streak from last year's team that lost to Brookstone in the Sweet 16 of the playoffs, or the quarterfinals of the playoffs, rather. My final question to you, Coach, is because I know about Stratford Academy. I've been to the campus. You guys have a state-of-the-art campus. It's absolutely gorgeous over there in Macon, home of the soccer championships, and they really have top-notch facilities. But what makes Stratford Academy a special place to attend, and why it feels like it's right there in the heart of the GIAA there in Macon, Georgia?
The biggest thing is, and somebody asked me that question a long time ago, and it's kind of a family type atmosphere. It's old school type coaching football. It's old school schools, I guess you would say. Some of the other schools I've been at before, it's never been a family type atmosphere. And here, it's like you're in South Georgia, kind of, to be honest with you, but you're in Middle Georgia, and they take their athletics serious. They really promote our athletes. They do a great job with that. And it's just one of those deals where I've enjoyed these 2 years right now with this football group, with the community, with the teachers, with the admin and so forth. Our athletic director, Barry Ville's done a phenomenal job, and it's important here. Academics and athletics is important, and our kids strive to be successful in both of them.
Well, Coach, good luck this Saturday night against Brookstone. It's going to be 6 o'clock. It will be the final game that we have on GIAA.TV. It's Brookstone. It's Stratford. It's at 5 Star Stadium over there at Mercer University. Just best of luck to you, Coach. And, yes, hope you have a good showing in the state championship. And we're excited
just that the state championship is finally here. So good luck to you, Coach.
Thank you, sir. Go Eagles.
All right, that is the head football coach of Stratford Academy, Coach Paul Carroll. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we got more. It's Road to Macon inside the GIAA Championship Football Edition here on GIAA.tv.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
We got a legendary coach with much experience taking on a first-year head coach at Brookstone. Storylines are plethora. It's a rematch of the regular season. Stratford, who was the storyline for 4A for about midway through the season. Brookstone was at the beginning of the season with their 5-0 start. Stratford then beat them 41-14. Stratford stumbled midway at the end of the year, but then got back on track as they took down Strong Rock. They took down Pacelli, and then, that is Brookstone. Took down Strong Rock, took down Pacelli, and then FPD. The Cougars are led by Broughton Branch. The quarterback has 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He also leads the team in rushing since their dynamic running back Dylan Terry went down. He has another 4 touchdowns with his legs. Mitchum Kelly, you'll hear his name a lot, and also Sammy LeBoy. Those 2 guys are about as dynamic threats on the outside as there can be. But what really defines this Brookstone team, as good as their offense and consistent as it has been under Ian Headley, it's the defense under Phil Farmer, the defensive coordinator. They got 5 guys with double-digit tackles for loss. Harrison Baker, AJ Hay, the dynamic senior linebackers who are just everything you need in leadership. They got 2 great guys on the outside, and Savon Kelly and Charlie Peak. Plus, throw in Colton Jordan. And then you can throw in Hack as well. This defense loaded. The back end with Greg Jones. They have been dominant all season long. The Cougars are playing with a lot of confidence. Shut out FPD. Dominated Pacelli. So they have handled their business 53-7 in the 2 playoff games. Also beat a good Strong Rock team. Cougars taking on Stratford, though, Richard. And even though they're without their leading rusher, they have still been dynamic and dominant here in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Yes, Tyler Stevens, went out with an ACL injury in that Mount DeSales game, but they have not skipped a beat. Aaron Jefferson has been fantastic as Stratford has, rolled in the regular season against Calvary, and then they turn around and they beat Calvary again. So that was their back-to-back opponent. They were able to beat Calvary Christian 37-21. Had no problem against an undefeated George Walton team, 33-6 to get to the state championship. Stratford has been practically the number 1 seed all year. They did slip up a little bit. They had a 2-game losing streak middle of the season to John Millage and to FPD, but it really starts with their defense. I mean, Tyler Maddox Whitehead is their leading sack leader. He's got 10 sacks on the season. I think this is going to be a very low-scoring defensive battle. Cade Smith and Jet Johnson is going to be ball hawking in the secondary, and I actually think that this is going to come down to who can make the play at the end of the game on the defense. I think that 2 defenses are outstanding. You saw what Brookstone did against FPD, 13-0. I think that Stratford's defense is also going to come to, and it's really, yes, Stratford's put up a lot of points, especially in the playoffs, but I don't think they faced a Brookstone defense like this. This is not the same team that Stratford played in the regular season when they beat Brookstone 41-14. I think this is a different Brookstone team, and it's a much different Stratford team as well. But remember, Stratford Academy, they went to the state championship back in 2022. They fell short. They missed the playoffs or had a losing record the following year. And they actually lost to Brookstone in the second round of the GIAA playoffs last year. So that they're avenging that playoff loss as well. And Stratford is going to have a lot of confidence playing in front of that home crowd at Five Star Stadium, because you know that the Stratford fans are going to come and show out in Mercer.
Yeah, they are, man. And remember, Stratford, last time they played in the championship was 2022. They lost to Pacelli. Last time Brookstone played in the championship was 2023. They lost to FPD. This is going to be a lot of fun. 6 o'clock Saturday. GIAA.TV, Brookstone and Stratford. It's hard beating a team twice, and then both teams are without their dynamic running back. I think the quarterback play of Brookstone really could define it. I'm leaning more towards Brookstone in this one, but wouldn't be shocked if Stratford holds on and Coach Paul Carroll gets a championship and finish out 11-2. Both teams 10-2 on the season. Both teams been number 1 and number 2 pretty much all year long. Cannot wait. 6 p.m. for this matchup. And man, wow, we've just had a lot of fun here, haven't we, Richard? We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll put a recap and kind of conclude the road to Macon. It's been a long show. We've done all 6 championship games preview from flag, 8-man, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A. That'll be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 3 p.m. flag, 5 p.m., 8-man. All-star game at 7:30, all at Mountain DeSales. Friday, Saturday, 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A, all at Mercer. We'll recap all of it. Thanks for watching, but don't go anywhere. One more segment here on the road to Macon inside the GIAA.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Man, we had a ton of fun, Richard, interviewing all those coaches. How about the championship matches, man? I'm looking forward to every single one of them. We got 3 rematches, really 4 if you want to count Pacelli Mountain DeSales, a rematch from 2 years ago. But we got 3 rematches from last year in 8-man, 1A and 2A, and then 3A and 4A. We're talking about the perennial 2 best teams all year long in the association. Really no upsets in each classification, with Brookstone, Stratford in 4A, and Deerfield Windsor taking on John Millage in 3A. I think we are set up for an incredible weekend. I think every single one of these games can go down the wire, and I'm looking forward to calling all of them on GIAA.TV.
I am looking forward to it too. I'm just excited to get there to Mount DeSales tomorrow for flag football 8-man and the All-Star game. That's going to be a busy Thursday to have 3 games. Then you got 2 games on Friday, 2 on Saturday. The venue changes to Five Star Stadium, home of the FCS powerhouse, Mercer University, which, by the way, they're playing Auburn. So that's why this field is available, because they're on the road. And just to play in a collegiate atmosphere and a great venue in Five Star Stadium, it should be a lot of fun.
I can't wait to be there, Richard. Thank y'all so much for watching. It's been a long night. It's been a lot of interviews, but they deserve every bit of it. We were glad to bring the ultimate exposure, and it brings me a lot of pride interviewing every one of these coaches and their programs that made it this far to the championships. Remember, GIAA.TV. Cannot wait to talk to y'all next time. And we hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday night. We'll see you Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for those state championships. It's championship week, baby. See y'all next time.